They can sort of
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the beautiful city of North Miami, and welcome to our regular council meeting. Today is September 28, 2021, and it's exactly 7:08 p.m. The meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk?
Mayor Bien-Aimé,
Here.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin,
Present.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy, here, Councilman Desilme.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. And now, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance with Major Diana Woman from the North Miami Police Department, followed by the invocation with Pastor Cheryl Sejour from Foursquare Church.
Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Sejour.
I greet you respectfully, Mayor Bien-Aimé, City Council, City staff. Good evening. It's my pleasure to bring the invocation this evening. May we bow our heads. Father God, we just are so grateful that we can come to you for everything. And Father God, we thank you that when we need wisdom, we can come to you. And we thank you that for every council member that is serving this city so well, we ask, Father, that you would give them the wisdom that comes from heaven. The wisdom from above is, first of all, pure. It is also peace-loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy and the fruit of good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. Lord, I ask that you would bless each and every person in this council chamber with your presence. I ask, Father, that every decision that is made in this chamber tonight, Lord, would have your blessing upon it. And we just thank you for your goodness, that we thank you for your goodness and your mercy and your grace. And Lord, I now say to the King, eternal, immortal, invisible, the only true God, be the glory and the honor forever. God bless each and every one. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Sejour from Foursquare Church, and Major Rahman from the North Miami Police Department. We have special presentation, COVID-19 update by Commander Branson, and also hurricane preparedness.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Commander Angelo Brinson, Emergency Management. Starting off with hurricane season, mid-September was the midway point for the hurricane season, but however, we're still very busy. At this time, we're monitoring 4 separate hurricanes in the Atlantic to include the major Hurricane Sam, but thankfully none of them are looking to impact South Florida at this time. So as always, we will continue to monitor and provide updates on any hurricanes that will affect South Florida as they become necessary or available. Moving on to COVID-19, as we continue to deal with the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, everyone is reminded to wear your mask, continue to social distance, and wash your hands frequently. Last week, Miami-Dade County had a total of 7,785 new COVID cases. This is on a downtrend, which is very good news, but we're not out of the woods yet, so everyone continue to do what we have been doing up until this time to prevent the spread of COVID-19. For anyone looking to get tested for COVID-19 or to receive their vaccination, World Safe First is providing free COVID-19 testing Monday through Saturday at the Joe Celestine Center, located at 1525 Northwest 135th Street, and at the Gwen Margolis Community Center, located at 1590 Northeast 123rd Street. Both of those operations are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and vaccinations are by appointment only on Saturdays. You can also get your COVID-19 vaccination at many local businesses around North Miami, to include Publix, CVS, and Walgreens. For a list of all testing and vaccination sites, please visit miamidade.gov/COVID. That's my report, Mayor. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much. Is there any question? The dais? No? Thank you, Commander Benson.
Thank you.
Thank you, and now let's move full force in our agenda. Let's set it straight. Madam City Manager, do we have any addition, deletions, amendments, or deferral to the agenda?
No, we don't, but we do have the presentation quarterly finance.
Yes, but you don't have any amendment on
No,
any
sir.
deferment on the agenda? But, okay. Thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, is the agenda set?
Yes, Mayor, the agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. And now we have two special presentations. We will the quarterly finance presentation by Miguel Augustin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Miguel Augustin, Finance Director. This evening, I'll be doing the third quarter finance cash report that was supposed to be done in the last meeting, but it was forwarded to this meeting. So I'll just quickly go through it. The information is as of June 30th, but I'm obligated to make the presentation. So just briefly, this slide here presents the cash balances as of 6:30 for the daily investment account. It presents the balance as of June 30th and compares it to the balance as of March 31st. As you can see, there was a change of 8.7 million, an increase, and that was primarily because we had the cash infusion from the American Rescue Funds that came in June. So that's the main reason for that increase from that quarter to the quarter ended 6/30/2021. The other accounts are relatively unchanged from quarter to quarter. We usually don't expect much variance between the balances. The utility deposit account that stays consistent throughout the year until we make a change at September 30th for the new deposits for customers who open new accounts throughout the year. And the flexible spending accounts, those are a result of the claims that are filed by employees who have AFLAC and those sorts of benefits. So the payments that are made out of those accounts are what affects those balances. The other accounts, the lockbox account, that's at Wells Fargo. That account, as I always mention, is where people make their payments by lockbox, and that money is transferred directly to the daily investment account. So it's essentially a zero balance account. So any balance you do see at the end of the period is just a result of timing between when the funds are deposited and when they're transferred over to the daily investment account. The other accounts are the same. The Iberia and the other certificates of deposit, those balances stay consistent. We just collect the interest. The interest is paid directly to the city, so that balance stays the same throughout the year. The next slide is it talks about the differences, cash flows and inflows and outflows from month to month. In April, I'm not going to go through all of it because it's still information, but in April, we had an overall $1.5 million net outflow compared to what we usually do. In May, we had a net outflow of just about $689,000. And June is the month that I talked about where we had the really big inflow of the $9.7 million that came from the federal government. So that's essentially the big change for the quarter. Just as a quick reference, the cash balance as of today, 9/28, is $43,235,000. So it's not very far off the balance as of June 30th. Remain fairly consistent over the final quarter of the year. That's all I really had. If there are any questions.
Mayor, please remember to speak directly into the mic.
Sorry, Madam Clerk. Yes, sir. Council members, no questions. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move forward. We don't have any announcement for the city. Any board appointments?
Mayor, there's another presentation.
I know. Yes.
We'd just like to hold on that presentation for
Yeah,
now at the moment.
we're gonna have a chance. So, yeah.
So the appointments are to the Library Board, Board of Adjustment, and reappointment board. So it would be appointing Nadejbo Saint to the Library Board, Nikisha Williams as an at-large member of the Board of Adjustment, and then reappointing Marcela Gutierrez to the Library.
Can I have a motion on the item?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimé Irvin to approve the appointments, the board appointments and reappointment. The motion was seconded by Councilman Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Let's agenda.
Consent agenda. Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through F constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through F be adopted.
Thank you very much. Now your motion on the consent.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estimé Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
Thank you very much. Black and Veatch rate study report. That's a special presentation, but before we move forward with the special presentation, at the county level, this is the budget hearing, and I think the applicant have to go to the county. That's why instead of Black and Veatch rate study report, we're gonna move to tab G.
Mayor, they're still running behind, so we can just go ahead with.
Oh, they're still running behind.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I thought that,
Okay, thank you very much.
yeah.
Now let's, yes.
Yes, correction, Madam Clerk. Please correct the vote for the consent. I got the wrong item, so that's a yes on the consent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's move with the report. Mr. Chambers?
The vote for the consent agenda is 5-0.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff. Robert Chambers here from Black and Veatch. Thank you very much for giving us the privilege of presenting to you today. I'll just get into the presentation. Thank you. So we're here today to discuss the study we undertook as it relates to looking at your water and sewer rates. And we really tried to answer 3 basic questions. And the presentation that we're giving today will go about outlining the answers to why are we doing this, how did we do it, and what are we trying to get out of it. We're really doing it to make sure the water and sewer system adequately recovers cost. You maintain the operational resilience of the system, and you continue to build the financial health of the system. We utilize an integrated financial planning approach, and we're really trying to maintain the reliable service that you provide to your customers. You've been awarded on many occasions the best water in Florida, and we really are trying to do it with affordable rate. Okay? Let me just take this mask. So what are the drivers and the purpose? We see this as a 3-legged stool. The first leg being integrated financial planning. The next leg being making sure the city, you all are engaged with your stakeholders, customers, and everybody involved in this process. And the third stool being business excellence, making sure that you continue to run a sound and solid business. In looking and understanding those drivers, you also have to deal with external issues, external challenges that, like yourselves, every other utility in the country is dealing with. Aging infrastructure, the cost, rates, making sure you have, stable revenues. And you do this with the drive of making sure that you go about strategically planning, having the financial and technological resources, and the thought leadership. But going through that whole process, we then had COVID-19. And COVID-19 came about changing a lot of what you have done as it relates to your financial planning and the impacts you saw. And you are still solid in coming through COVID-19, even though we're still going through it currently. So the purpose of this study is to make sure you fund your operating and capital needs, to make sure you understand how costs are being generated on your system, and make sure there's balance in how you go about establishing your water and sewer rates. Quickly, to go over the approach, we really want to know how much revenues you need, who should we get the revenues from, and how should we price the revenue, the rates. That's the three basic questions we go about trying to understand. So getting into the details of the financial plan, getting into the meat. Yes, you do need a rate increase. And why do you need a rate increase? Currently, it is estimated that you'll spend about $54 million in water and sewer capital projects over the next 5 years. That becomes a big driver as it relates to making sure you adequately fund your requirements. Another driver is, as you operate your system, your operating costs are going up on average about 4.25%. So you have to make sure you're able to support those costs. And then in doing diligent financial planning, there are certain metrics you have to maintain for your creditors, debt service coverage, and to make sure you can survive during unexpected events, meaning making sure you have enough funds on hand. Okay? Thirdly, you want to prevent rate volatility. So for example, you don't want to not do something this year and then you have to double up on your rates next year. So as best as you can go about applying smooth increases to meet your requirements, it creates the least possible impact for your customers. As it relates to your capital improvement, this is a quick summary of what your capital requirements are. You're looking at about $40 million in water projects over the next 5 years, another 13.5 in sewer projects. Your debt service, so that's your costs associated with going out and borrowing money to fund your capital projects, that's going to go up about 4 times. Okay? And overall, we're finding a balance with utilizing debt and your cash on hand to have an optimal financing structure for your water and sewer system. So this is what the rates look like currently based on the financial forecast, based on what we deem necessary to meet your requirements. And we'll go into more details in further slides. So to go through on an individual annual basis, you'll need about a 6% in 22 for water, a 9% for sewer, which combines to about a 7.6% revenue increase. In 23, 24, and 25, you'll require about a 7% on water, 5% on 7% in water, and then in 26, 5%. And then on sewer side, in 22, 8%, 24, 7%, 25, 7%, and in 26, 5%. As we said, we do this study with the objective of trying to balance these competing objectives. making sure you have enough resources to fund your operations, making sure the customers are not impacted. And in everything we do, as a part of the study and working with staff, we try to balance these objectives. Getting into the details of the financial plan. And I'm not going to go into too much details here, but if you look at line 3, which is your total revenues for your water and sewer system combined, in 22, revenues are forecasted at about 34.9 million, and that number will go up to about 35.8 million by 26. With other revenue sources, your total revenues, which is line 11, will increase from about 35.3 million in 22 to about 36.4 million in 26. That's with no rate increases. Okay? If we look at line 12, which is O&M, operating and maintenance expenses, in 22, O&M will be about 31.4 million, and that will grow to about 37.1 million by 26, which is greater than the revenues which would be provided based on the current forecast. Line 19 provides a summary of total revenues less total cost, and it's demonstrating that based on your existing rates, you would have an operating deficit. Based on the proposed rates, you would go about funding your capital requirements, funding your O&M requirements, and then you would have, you'd be able to meet your requirements as such. What does this mean as it relates to your customers and the bill that they may see? Okay? So, based on the FY22 forecasted increase, for the typical customer, the typical residential customer on your system that uses about 5,000 gallons, in total, their total water and sewer bill, they'll see about a $5 increase. Okay? So in closing, what this plan does as presented, it helps you to fund your operating and maintenance requirements. It helps you to fund your capital needs, which is a major component that's driving this financial plan. You can achieve financial resilience by meeting your specified and required financial metrics, which will all allow you to continue to produce the best water in Florida. That's the presentation. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chambers. Questions? Yes. Councilman Desulme. Councilwoman Magistime-Irvin.
So thank you for your presentation. Just to simplify it, what exactly are you recommending?
So what we proposed as a part of the study are the increases we showed, the multi-year increases for FY22 through 26 for the water and sewer system respectively.
And the increases are average of 7.5, is that what I think I heard?
Yes, this represents the revenue increase that would be required. It's about a 7.6% increase. Yes, ma'am.
And you said that it would, to the average consumer that is using about 5,000 gallon, that it would be about $5 increase annually, or for the
per month.
Oh, this would be
per month to their total water and sewer bill.
Okay, so there would be a $60 annually?
Aggregate,
or?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And the question, you said between 22 and 26, if there is no increase, what will be our deficit?
So as stated here on this slide, if you're able to see it, line 19 highlights the deficit you will see with no increase at all.
How much it is?
So As of right now in 22, the deficit is about 844,000, and that grows to about 3.3 million in 23, sorry.
226, how much is going to be? You have it.
By the end of 26, that number grows to 9.4 million.
9.4 million.
And that's just with no rate increase.
With no rate increase. Yeah. That would be a deficit.
Yes, sir.
And you said between now and 2026, we need about $54 million to update our system?
You have, sorry, okay. Based from now until 26, your capital plan is estimated at $54 million.
We need $54 million
yes.
to invest in our system in order to upgrade the water and sewer.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do we have this presentation? Because I'm looking for it. Do we have it?
A copy of the presentation?
Yes.
Maybe on the packet?
That's what I'm looking for.
No, as I understand.
Yeah, maybe on the packet. Yeah. Is there any question? Other question? Do you have any question?
I don't have the packet. I heard his presentation, but no, I don't.
Oh, I have a question, Mayor. And are you proposing the rate increase in this upcoming fiscal year, starting October 1st?
We already passed the budget.
With this, because I remember we didn't have the number in the budget. We didn't know what the amount was because we were waiting on this study.
The second budget, I'm sorry, to the mayor and council, Anisha Daniel. The second budget hearing, we did provide the numbers for the rate increase, which included the rates as well as the revenue that would be generated with that rate increase.
About $5 a month, which is $15 a quarter for the pay. That's the budget.
So what is this? If it's already passed, what is this?
That's the presentation of Black and Veatch, what the rate study, what they did, and what we need.
What's the correlation, Ms. Daniels?
So basically, the document, the second budget hearing basically provided the rates and the revenue that would be generated, so we can have a balanced budget. However, we still have an ordinance reading on October 12th so that we can actually pass that rate.
The increase.
Exactly. We wanted to actually have the rate study first so that you can actually have the rate study and go through the process of reviewing it, and then have the ordinance the resolution with the rate increase at the next meeting.
So is it clear that I'm going to get this presentation?
Yes, we can make sure you provide. I'm sorry, I thought it was provided.
Okay, no
if
problem.
not, they'll make sure you get it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Chambers.
Thank you all very much.
And you will be available and afterwards if we have any questions when the resolution.
Yes, we'll be here. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you. Paris here. Okay. Thank you very much. And Tab G.
Tab G, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the City Manager and the City Attorney to negotiate and execute a lease agreement between the City of North Miami as landlord and Miami-Dade County as tenant for the city-owned property located at 13000 Northeast 16th Avenue, identified with folio number 06-2229-058-0130. For the premises to be utilized by the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department for a term of 99 years, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab G.
Thank you very much. Madam Deputy City Manager or Madam City Manager, can we have a quick overview of the item before we go in the fire department?
Yeah. So both items G and H, we do have Miami-Dade County Fire here. Both of the items, one is for the fire station that is in District 2 currently. The Miami-Dade County plans
The
to...
address 13000 Northeast 16th Avenue?
Yes. And the second item is for...
No, let's talk about
it's for
the
District
first
4.
one right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll present on both. Miami-Dade County...
What they want to do exactly before we
Yeah, they presented us with a plan to make changes and to upgrade both of those fire stations.
Okay.
One in District 2 and one in District 4. And Mr. Scott Mendelson's going
That's
to
when they want to upgrade the fire station.
Yes.
Okay.
When
Yes,
it's-
sir.
Good evening. Scott Mendelsberg, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Assistant Director, Chief Financial Officer. The two stations we're talking about are Station 19 and 20. When the city of North Miami merged into the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue District in 1969, there were three stations, 18, 19, and 20. We entered into an agreement that you would lease us the stations for $1 a year for as long as we're in the fire district. At one point, many years ago, Station 18 was torn down. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I came here to ask if we could build Station 18 in a park. I didn't really want to do that, but your city manager said the city wants to do that. So I came, and you said, no, we don't want to put it in this park, Cagney Park. And I agreed with that because I didn't think you should give up your park space. We entered into a subsequent agreement with your CRA for a temporary lease to get Station 18 up and going. It is up and going. We have a rescue there. And then subsequently, we bought some county land from another county department about 6 blocks west. So we can put a full Station 18. It'll be the most beautiful fire station anywhere until we get to Stations 19 and 20. Those
What is the location?
18 is at Northeast 2nd Avenue and Memorial Highway. It's a 2-acre plot just north of 135th Street.
Oh, okay, I see that. Okay.
And it's a great location. It'll be a beautiful fire station. It's a little bit outside the city boundaries of North Miami, but public safety doesn't really have any municipal boundaries when it comes to fire service. So it'll serve the residents of that area. But 19 and 20 are really old stations built in 1963. And we have a few stations like that in the county. Down in the south end, we have stations 5 and 6 and a few others. So about a year and a half ago, we started to hire architects. We hired 3 architects to redesign 11 fire stations in the county. These are 2 of them. What we would like to do is build a brand new fire station at each location. Station 19 and Station 20, they're just not suitable for the modern fire service. The bays aren't big enough, the dorms aren't big enough, they don't have all the equipment and storage areas that we need for the bunker gear and things like that. So this is our plan. We're doing this to a number of stations around the county. Some of them we're building right on the same location. Some of them we're moving maybe a half a mile east or west if we have property. Obviously, if we had additional property, we would just move the station, but we don't. And so we're looking at, since Station 19 and 20 are busy, especially Station 19, we're going to lease property from a nearby church. We've done this before. We established a temporary station there. Then we tear down the existing station, and we build a brand new one. But what we have is, not really a lease agreement. It was something done in 1969. It's $1 a year. Who knows if we're even paying you the $1 a year? But I want to put $7 million plus into each one of these new buildings. And so we'd like to have, a formal lease agreement where we say, okay, we're paying you $1 a year. It's 99 years. We own the building and things like that. The alternative was the fire chief wanted to purchase the land from you. But if that's not what you want, we'll continue to do the $1 a year lease and build a brand new station. It's either way. But if you wanted to sell us the land, I know you can't sell us the land for less than the market value, so we would pay the market value. On Station 19, there happens to be additional piece of land that we don't control right now. The city owns it. The city bought it from a homeowner a number of years ago. Obviously, we would compensate the city for the use of that land, since you're out-of-pocket money, recently, not 75 years ago, but sometime in the past decade or so, or 2 decades, you bought that piece of property, and we don't want this to cost the city of North Miami anything. In fact, we just want to build a brand new fire station. But we need that land next to Station 19. Without it, the footprint is actually smaller than the most recent fire station we renovated in Sweetwater. They widened the street in Sweetwater, the state did, took off half the front of our station. So instead of trying to do what the state wanted and rebuild in the back, we tore it down and built a brand new station. And if we could have an opportunity to take you to one of those stations, or Station 64 in Miami Lakes, Station 69 in Doral, I think you would see there's a much better facility that'll serve, your community and the firefighters who really need it. So we're here to ask your permission to either get an additional lease and do this right, or to sell us the property so we can get our architects doing the design work and knowing what they have to work with.
We are doing one at the time. Now it's tab G. Is let's focus on the location on 13000 North East 16th Avenue. But now then, next is we're gonna go to tab H. Now, let's open it to the public for public hearing before we come up on the dais. Public hearing is open.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. If it's regarding what was just presented now, it seems like, unlike other development situations we've had in the past, this one seems to present itself as a little bit more obvious the direction we should go in. If fire stations are considered amenities to our public, they're really an asset. And if it's going to happen anyway, regardless sort of our input, why don't we capitalize on it and sell the land? Because they're not going to do anything with it except for have a fire station anyway. Why would we? I don't know if it's going to be much of a windfall profit, but the end result is the same. There's going to be there's going to be a fire station at a location somewhere on or near the city. We either get practically zero, $1 a year, zero, or we have some money that then can be reinvested. I don't think we're fighting against having the fire station. Even the worst configuration is still an asset to the community and public safety. So hopefully this will be done well. It'll be done well designed, well configured, well received in the community, and hopefully we can optimize on this in a number of ways. Just a consideration, sounds like something we might be able to support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We already have the fire station. They're just spending $7 million on upgrading the location, each location. Public hearing is still open on tab G. Public hearing is now closed. Let's turn it to District 2 Council Member. That's under Timothy. Okay. That's your district. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. If I can ask the administration, how much will it cost if we were to sell them the property? Have we appraised the land yet to see?
No, we have not done. I think we did an appraisal of the alley, if I'm not mistaken, Carlos.
We got to do it from the mic.
Right, we did an appraisal of the vacant lot and the alley, which were, not the subject of the lease that was done back in 1969. So we know we have to compensate the city for those, so we did those. But if you obviously would have to do another appraisal, I think your ordinance requires you to do an appraisal.
No, is that one for the one for this address, 1300 Northeast 16th Avenue?
No, that's Station 20, right? That's
Yeah,
Station 20. We have not done any appraisal work yet at all.
What you mean? Oh.
So no, because if the option is to sell
Station
them,
19.
We're doing 20 on Northeast 6th Avenue.
yeah, this is we're talking about just
Right.
20.
Station 19.
There's two stations, 19 and 20.
19.
Which is
Yeah,
the
but
one
it's
on
one
6th?
item. The one we are discussing right now is Station 19 on 13000 Northeast 16.
I believe that's station 20.
Yeah,
So station
that's
20.
Station 20.
That's 20, okay.
Accuracy is really important.
Okay,
So
okay. That's Station
So
20.
for
Okay,
Station
we are
20 in
discussing
District
20
2.
now.
Right, that's the first one. 20 is before 19. It just happens to be that way.
Okay. And how long would it take to build this project?
Well, to build a fire station, construction-wise, it's about 15 or 16 months. But that's, once the guy starts breaking ground. To do the design, I have the architects on board. Once he knows the site and the exact parameters of the site, it's about 6 months. And then we go to dry run permitting, take another 4 or 5 months of permitting and bidding. So in about a year, we could have the design done and have a contractor on board, another 15 months to actually build the station.
And will there be any interruption of public service while it's being
No,
built?
we have a plan, we lease property from nearby churches. We've done this in Sunny Isles, we've done this in Palmetto Bay, we're going to do this down at Coral Reef. What's the name of the church we're going to work?
it doesn't matter.
The mic, use the mic.
Northwest Baptist Church.
Okay.
We will lease from them, we're bringing it to the board. We will establish a temporary fire station so that we don't have any units go out of service. Once we get those units in service at that station, then we'll do the demolition and start the rebuild. But not until we have the temporary station done, and we'll do all of that during the design and bidding process of this station.
Okay.
So we won't wait until that point in time. We'll make sure because it takes an awful long time, not just to do the lease, but to prepare the site and get the trailers but no, we don't want to interrupt service. That's the last thing,
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you very much, Councilman Galvin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Northwest Baptist Church is not in this general vicinity. Are you accurate when you're saying that's the property you would lease?
Yeah.
About how far away is it? Oh, I know.
We
We got to be on the microphone. I'm sorry.
Use the other mic. It's two.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, Carlos Heredia, Real Estate Manager, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Yes, we are now working with Northwest Baptist Church, which they are not within the city boundaries. They're within unincorporated Miami-Dade County. But we are working with them. We have everything organized. We have a lease drafted that we're going to present to the commission shortly to lock in that land for the temporary station that will serve for Station 19.
How far is it from? We're only talking about Station 20, Station 20, Station 20, Station 20. I want to keep
I'm
this
sorry,
focused.
Councilman. Yes, sir.
That's okay.
No, okay. Going to 20 at this time, we don't have much activity with Station 20. Our focus right now is Station 19. But it's
The discussion is
20. Okay, my apologies. 20, we have a location. It's a little shuffling game. Once we build Station 18, Scott, I believe we're going to.
Once we build Station 18 and 19, we can move units into there and do 20 because we've been trying to get space around there. The university that went out of business, Johnson and Wales, they wanted us to buy all of it or nothing, and I don't need their entire campus. So we're desperate and we're trying, but it looks like the best way to do it will be to move units from 18 and 19 and keep 20 in service that way.
So the timeline that you just quoted to Councilwoman Timothy, was that for 19 or 20?
That was for 19.
20, on 20.
Right. On 20 would be, okay, we'll do the design, and then the construction can't start until they can either move one of those units into 19 that's finished or into 18. That way we don't have to take anything out of service.
Okay, so construction on 20, your target would
probably
be
a couple of years. If we get approval tonight to get this, we know.
2023, I'm sorry, because this will,
I get it.
I'll now be answering these questions to the community. I represent.
It's pretty much the end of 2021 right now.
Right.
So, hopefully by the end of next year, 2022, we could be in permitting and under construction in the middle of 2023.
Okay.
That's best case, but the most important thing is I tell my architect, here's your site. This is what you have to work with.
Right.
No more, no less. Especially no less.
Sure.
Give it more room they can always, do with. But if it's less, he's got a problem. So as soon as we have an agreement and whatever it is, a sale or a lease, say, okay, that's the definite footprint. Start the design. We'll figure out where to put the units later on, but let's not hold that up.
Right.
But I can't start design until I've got the property.
I get it. Station number 20. Station 20, please. When that construction is happening, where will the units be stored? Do you have a specific plan at this moment?
18 or 19, or if another location becomes available that's closer, we would grab. But 18 and 19 are going to be big enough with extra bays. They right now, 19 and 20 can't absorb any more units.
Right.
19 will be a 3-bay station for 3 units. 18 will have the ability to have 4 units in it because it's a 2-acre site.
I just want to stick at 20.
20 will go into 19 and 18
Since
when
he
they're
said-
built.
Councilman Galvin, and he says that in order to move 20, you're going to have to finish 18. When 18 going to be done?
Hopefully within the time, about 2 more years. That's, when we would have to start the construction of 20.
No, I'm talking about 18.
Right. 18, I have the site. It's in design right now.
Okay.
That should be opening in 2 years. At that point, we can move those units from 20 in there and start the construction on 20. I can do design at the same time, but I can't do construction until I have a place for them to go. Either the temporary like 19 or the permanent station like 18 for them to move in that'll have a lot more room than anything.
Meaning the details that you just, it was for 20 instead of 19. It was for 19 instead of 20.
19 is going to have a temporary location. 20 will move into station 18 and station 19 that'll have extra room.
But is that contingent on Station 19 being completed?
No, Station 20 can move into 18 without 19 being completed. But if 19 is completed at the same time, we'd probably move one unit into there and move one unit into 18 to keep them closer to this side of, to where 20 would be.
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions, probably starting with the city attorney. So we have no contract at all currently right now for Station 20, correct?
You mean
Is there
a
any-
lease agreement?
A lease agreement.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
You have something from 1969 that was passed, and that's kind of what's been in control for the last
So
53
this
years.
lease agreement would start today. The 99 years would starting today.
We haven't, this is to negotiate a lease agreement, so we haven't negotiated one yet. So this is authorizing us to negotiate a lease agreement. So at the time that we negotiate the lease agreement, then that final agreement would be the start date.
Okay. Also, you keep talking about that you may move it to Station 18. What is the address for Station 18?
The address of the proposed new permanent station is 13853 Memorial Highway.
So you're saying that when Station 20 will more than likely be moved to 18?
One unit can go to 18, one unit can go to 19. Hopefully, they will both be done around the same time.
But so,
Because Station 19 will be 3 bays, Station 18 will actually be able to have 4 units. So we can put them easily in those 2 stations.
so your intent is to start construction in 2023, 2024 for Station 20, the one that we're discussing
Yes,
now?
that one will be the last one in order to be able to get 18 and 19 done. But as soon as they're done, we have someplace to move the crew from 20, unless something opens up, like Johnson and Wales or somebody else says, hey, we're willing to lease you a small parcel of land to do a temporary station, we would do that. There's just not anything around there right now. So we'd like to start the design of where we know the station's going to be and figure out, okay, where can we put those people later on to continue service than simply wait and not do anything. Because the longer we wait, the longer it's going to take, and you can't get any more service than you have right now at those 2 stations. There's no place to put anybody. And you're a growing community, and you're going to need more units.
That's all the questions I have for now.
Thank you very much. And I think build those units and those stations about safety. That's our 911 call. A lot of residents in the city sometimes are complaining that when they dial 911, it takes hours to come. That's mean by update our system, that mean the 911 call will be coming quickly as quick as possible, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Your public safety answering point? Yeah, if you update that, obviously that helps. We take the calls with 911, they transfer them to the fire dispatch, and that helps. But if there's something lagging in your PSAP, then I'm not aware of it, but obviously that would have an impact on response time.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion on tab G?
Move
If there's no other question,
Move approval of the lease.
now second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab G. The motion was seconded by, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Now we discuss station 20. Now let's move to tab H to 19.
Tab H, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and the city attorney to negotiate and execute a lease agreement between the city of North Miami as landlord and Miami-Dade County as tenant for the 2 city-owned properties located at 650 Northwest 131st Street, identified with folio number 06-2125-001-0050, and 665 Northwest 130th Street, identified with folio number 06-2125-001 for the premises to be utilized by the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department for a term of 99 years, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab H.
Thank you very much. I think
So just tab H, which is station 19, we've had discussions. The discussions have been a little bit more in-depth in terms of this station, because this is the one where they need the additional lot that's at 665 Northwest 130th Street, as well as requesting the alleyway. We did for this property, because this was a parcel that would have been new, we do have an appraisal value for the 665 Northwest 130th Street, which came in at $410,000, and the alleyway at $115,000.
115, 410. Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. If there is there a presentation?
But basically, as we said before, we'd like to get control of the site so that we can have the architect start the drawings in detail and know exactly what he has to work with, so that we can make this fire station bigger and add units. Because right now it cannot add any unit.
How many units do you have now?
Right now there is one engine and one rescue.
And if you get the land, how many?
If we get the land, we'll be able to add another unit in there, just like the Station 19. Right now we can't add units if we wanted to. Station 18, we only have the temporary, so once we build all three of them, we'll have the ability to add 4 or 5 more units.
19, how many units you're going to have if...
There'll be 2 in there. The same 2 that are there right now will be in there when the brand new station opens. But if there is a need for more, then we can put another unit in there.
Okay.
But right now, we can't do anything.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab H.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Following up on what I said earlier, I'd like to make clear that I'm not applying that philosophy to all development or all sites in our city, past or present. This is sort of specific. This is where it's an admirable use, where even if, would we redevelop that site? Probably not. If we were to have control over it, what would we want there? Probably a fire station. And we'd probably perpetuate that usage. That said, if the city wishes on this contract, if there is such a sale or a lease agreement with this outside party, if the city feels that this might in some way constrict future development or whatever, the new headquarters of the giant company is coming in and we need the land or whatever else it is, something that we don't foresee at this time, you might have a clause that says we could buy out that property in the future should something come along, provided that that buyer, the giant company that comes along, somebody will replicate the station within X 10 blocks or whatever it is, replicate the station. So you have that option so you don't feel handcuffed in doing this. It means that, I doubt if it would be used, but it would mean that they would have as good or better a station within a certain range and they would move directly into it. There would be no downtime or anything else. Should that event ever arise, that something bigger, better master plan of the city or another entity come along and that's needed, if you feel handcuffed on that or cornered, that could be an option so you don't feel so confined. Just consideration. And again, that would not apply to other development around the city, which has other considerations. This is kind of a narrow scope. Appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open on tab H. The location of that station is 650 Northwest 131st Street.
Move approval.
No, not yet. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval.
Let me ask you a quick question. In order for you to do the project, you need the additional land. If you don't get it, what's going to happen? You're going to build a new station anyway?
I probably might look for an alternate location. This will take much longer.
Council members? And District 4, because that's in your district. Tab H. Councilman Diesel May?
Yes, am I good to talk now, Mr. Mayor? Can I state?
No, I speak for District 4.
I want to make sure, because I do have a couple of comments. But before I start my comment, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your name?
Scott Mendelsberg.
Mr. Mendelsworth. Madam Manager, let me ask you this, because this is very puzzling to me. The first puzzle is item 19, item 20 is before 19. That's very confusing. We had a discussion a couple weeks ago in regards to this item when it was about to put on the agenda. And the issue that we had when I heard about it, you know, I called you and I said, Madam Manager, and this was specifically that incident that happened. And I said, we can't do that because you have folks, no one here is opposed to public safety and you know, in terms of the fire station. But I said, but the items that I heard was about selling the land and mixing up one of the items that we bought. And I said to you, I said, ma'am, I would prefer and I would respectfully ask, as the elected person of the district, that I meet with Mr. Scott or whoever that you met with to know about it. And you said to me at that time that the item that was about to come on wouldn't come on and we would discuss it. So I wasn't here last week, well, it was budget meeting. So this week, I've heard it, and again, I have no problem. I'll support. You know, I think the item. I don't know if what Councilman Gavin was supporting, but definitely support the rebuilding of it, but not selling anything in terms of that, because I do believe the residents of North Miami, or at least of District 4, would have anything to say if out of courtesy, if we were talking about selling anything. So I am very puzzled tonight, and again, I am going to support the item to rebuild that station, but I never heard anything, and I never had any other discussion with anyone from the administration. So tonight I came, well, when I got the item on Thursday, I saw this item back again, and I thought there was a mistake, or because some residents was asking me about about that particular station, because I know there's a little land next to the church in the bridge. So I never allowed or had the courtesy of had the meetings with Mr. Scott or whoever from Miami-Dade County. So again, no one is, because this is a public safety, but there is a level of respect that I demand in the people of my district do from, and I've seen it happen here. So I don't know who's making these decisions in far as, but I'm saying it publicly. And this will be the last time I'm saying it because I'm getting a little tired of it. When you guys are making any decision, because I don't know who's making decision about items coming in from the people that I represent, it needs to be, I need to at least get a courtesy that it's coming to a meeting in reference to, especially if it's an item I was promised that was not coming. And that has nothing to do with you in terms of that. So I am going to support the item, I believe not to sell anything, because now I hear appraisal was done. These are the residents of the citizens of North Miami. If we were serious about, or respect, let's just say the representative, which is me, and the people, we could sit and have a town hall or even a telephone call in the thing of COVID and talk about, if we were talking about selling anything. I know I can't say we need, in terms of the money, but this would be the last item that I'm voting on in terms of, and I don't care what it is, if it concerned the district that I do not know about. So if other colleagues wants to, Mr. Mayor, please allow me to finish.
Yes, sir. You don't have to vote on it. You can table the item until.
No, I'm not, no. It's public safety. I don't have no problem with the item. We all want a good fire station. It's just the lack of courtesy. It's in respect to the people who voted me in here. So it has nothing to do with you, sir, but I did not know that you was coming because I had requested to meet with you. Because, so we're voting on this one, and please do not mention the other property on the other side, because I, as the district representative, have a plan for that property. And I shared that with the manager, so I would appreciate, but it did not sound right, because we all confuse item 20 before item 19, whatever the case is. So I would second the motion that my colleague made in terms of that.
But you're going to second by removing the other.
No. What other?
It is.
Huh?
But we can table the item until the next.
No,
month.
I don't have the way it is right now, Mr. Attorney. Let me ask you a question. Is this item the same way as the other one, or I hear another folio? Is that have something to do with 130? Wait a minute, because 130 is in here. So what is going on here? Are you selling, or are you proposing? Well, not you, Mr. Attorney. Are we proposing to sell land of the city what is
I
this?
didn't propose to sell. The fire department has said that they would prefer to purchase. The conversations that I've been having with them was only to lease the property, because I said what our intentions was to discuss. So
Whose attention? Well, stop. This is my problem again, Madam Manager.
So the discussion about the fire station preceded me coming here. So I continued the conversation about the fire station. We spoke previously, and we said that they would come and present about what they needed for the fire station. So I brought them to present it, and it's in the form of the item. We did not bring up to sell them. The reason why I had to tell you about the cost of the two properties that they want to acquire is because they're not part of the property they're using now, and that because we had acquired them at some stage, the conversation was, even though we would still lease it, they would pay us the value because we paid it out and thought it was going to be used for something else. So we had to know what the value of that is, and because our ordinance requires how we do with abandoning the alleyway, I had to have those costs there. If there was a misunderstanding in terms of them coming to present at the meeting versus presenting at the office, then, I would take that on the administration. But the idea was we weren't going to bring them in July. They'd come back in September, but they'd have to tell us what they were trying to do. And part of the conversation was them to explain why they may have needed the additional land that they had there. So
what additional land? The public land? The one on 130th?
Yeah, because
But this is my issue, and that has nothing to do with you, sir. We had said that I don't have any problem with them rebuilding that, but if we are doing anything, the stuff that I had promised my constituent that we talked about. So I did not know anything about this, that's what I'm saying. I had requested that they meet with me, and then I think that's how it works. I mean, Scott, you've been here for 20 years, you would know. I think it comes to me, we'll let the constituent know. I have homeowners, the idea is when we're in public service is, there's a lot of things that you have your role as a manager and we have our role as public official. I cannot be selling things that I earmarked and talked about to the constituents on one thing. And we specifically talked about, I don't mind rebuilding, whatever the case is, but if we're going to have a conversation about people's land or about the city's land, which is the people's land, we need to have an input in terms of that. I'm supporting, again, the motion is only 131st.
Councilman, let me say something. I'm going to let you speak.
Yes,
but
sir.
understand sometimes the city manager have 5 bosses, and that's your district. I understand that. But when an applicant come and would like to acquire something, sometimes they want to bring it for discussion, so she have a clear understanding of what the board want, what the
No,
want.
Mr. Mayor, I've been here for 7 years, for 6 years. No. It doesn't work like that. I a little bit disagree in terms of that, because we had briefing, and out of courtesy for the past few years that I have, it's usually the item come to the district representative, I'm not saying that she doesn't have 4 other bosses, but I had specifically direct her that I needed to speak to the people.
Okay, no, in that
Yeah,
case,
so,
that's
but,
the administration.
so with that being
responsibility.
said, I would support that, and please leave the 130 out of it. Because the 130, there's a house next to it, sir. And that's what I had told the manager I did not have any issue with. And we cannot do this. I mean, this is really, really.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to architecturally fit anything with more service than I have now.
So this was already worked out then? If you're
No,
saying
nothing
that,
was worked out.
No, but I'm saying that because that's the same conversation that I was told, and I said, well, how would that be if it's supposed to be a swap? Because right behind your land, there's some homes. Did you purchase those homes?
No.
So how would you, okay, if the fire station is right next to the church, the lot that the city owns is on the other side of the street, on the opposite side. There's homes behind your
Right.
station.
There were 3 homes, now there's 2 homes left.
Yes, and one of those, which is near 95, that we purchased. So did you purchase the 2 homes directly behind your station?
No.
Then that has nothing to do with the way, unless you're using, you saying you wanted this for parking lot, or?
Yes.
Okay,
In
well,
order to be
that's.
able to build the station with the footprint.
Sir, I understand, and that's the discussion that I think the people.
Since we need that, can we table the item?
No, I'm not,
I
Mr.
don't want to
Mayor.
approve the item before.
But I don't,
we are
I mean, I'm
making
not,
a destiny on
Mr. Mayor,
where we-
right now, I'm gonna tell you because I'm gonna have to get the public in here because it's getting a little weird, because I don't mind supporting it and I'm not gonna change it because of the way it's being done, because I don't like what's going on with rebuilding, just like they did on 16th, that station. That land, I had already had commitment to my district about that land.
That's
So,
what I said, table it and
there's nothing to
discuss
table, Mr. Mayor. We need to take that out and then vote on the fire station. Now, if he
They
doesn't
said they
want to.
won't be able to
Then
build
there's nothing we
anything
table.
new.
What are we tabling? Then y'all vote for it, then I'm just voting no,
No,
that's all.
that's not what we want.
Well, I mean, the people, if my district, I did not know, I had a project that I wanted
That's
to
why
do
we
it.
are table the item and give you the opportunity to discuss with the people and see if they want it or not. If not, we.
No, we want a station. I mean, no, Mr.
But they
Mayor.
said they won't be able to build it.
Well, they need to
We
go
did.
back and redraw whatever that they need to do to fit what they have or make it bigger. There's near the 95, there's a little acre. We need to talk about, and I think all of these could have been worked out if the respect was given in terms of me and then me going back to my residents. I can't come here tonight and want to give city land to the county. They wouldn't do that to us in terms of, or sell it to the county, whatever the case is. And my people don't, I didn't even know about it. So I cannot do that. You know, I took an oath and I ran, the people voted. I think I'm supposed to represent them in that way. And that item was coming up and I had strong opposition to it the way it was. I didn't know. So if there's nothing to work out, I'm just saying if you guys want to vote it like that, I don't have any
No,
problem.
we're not voting. We're not, since you said you already have plan for the land.
Well, I thought I did.
And they said they won't be able to build anything without it. It's table the item, so, and we move forward if for further negotiation or.
I don't. So you say you
I'm not
cannot
gonna
build something
vote.
smaller?
I won't be able to build anything that has more units. So I can rebuild it, I can
But,
make it nicer,
sir.
but it won't store more people, and it will not
Wait a minute,
work for us.
I'm sorry, John.
Mendelsberg?
Yes, Mr. Wendelsberg. The plot, that 130, you say you're using it for parking lot, so that has nothing to do with you building the fire station.
I need parking for every firefighter that's there and the person that comes and replaces them.
And we could
okay?
have that conversation with the church. We got St. James, we got.
I can't have the parking, I can't have the
So
parking.
please, this is really the council discussion, because you made your case, but, you know, you guys could do whatever that, because I don't think the public could, that doesn't make no sense, because if you are building the fire station and the plot, the land that we have is not really, there ain't gonna be no fire station on there, it's a parking lot. So we could negotiate on, and I don't have no problem with building the fire station on the record again. We could start, we could do that. If you need I could help you look for parking spot. How many parking spots do you guys need?
May I
Yes,
address
sir.
you, Mr.
Yes,
Council?
absolutely.
Thank you, sir. I want to also add that that vacant lot is not only going to serve as a parking lot.
Oh.
Right now, that will also serve as a proposed return into the station, whereas right now,
Oh.
the units are backing into off of 131st Street, which could be dangerous at times. The additional lot will not only provide parking, but they can do like a drive-through from 130 into the station bay. It's a more safer.
But you're gonna go right next to you, because the house directly to you, you haven't purchased those, so you're gonna have to go diagonally.
Yes, sir. We've spoken to both of the homeowners that live there because we are closing the alley and they will benefit, they will be gaining a piece of that alley towards their property. They did not object to us closing the alley as long as they received their portion, and they were not in any opposition also as to our rebuild or using the lot to the east, the vacant lot. I just want to share that with you, sir. I understand.
I didn't know to even go and speak to them, because I didn't think the item was coming. But if we are, there are ways, I think, that if we're not using the city lot that you guys want to purchase or give, whatever the case is, for the station. So in terms of him designing the station as is, we could always accommodate. We have, we have the St. James, you have other different things. But that's my case. I think I made my case. It's up to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to table tab H until further discussion?
Move to continue to the next, or a few
Further discussion.
Second.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
We handed out something that shows him how the parking.
We're
that
moving.
lot would
We're
be.
No, we're
Okay.
moving. You will discuss
Okay.
with the councilman and then.
Table?
Yes.
Deferred?
I have a
Until
motion.
further. Mhm.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to table the item at tab 8. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tab I.
Tab I, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a sublease and operating agreement between the City of North Miami and Lease LLC for the leasing and operation of the Red Garden site in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in request for proposals number 23-19-20. Further authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders for the purchase and installation of artificial turf and to do all things necessary for the restoration of the site, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab I.
Thank you very much. Have a presentation by. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. For the record, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. The item that you have before you is simply to request your approval and authority to execute the proposed agreement with Lease LLC for the sublease development operation of the site formerly known as Red Garden site, and to further authorize the city manager to issue purchase orders for the necessary repairs and restoration of the site. If you'll recall, on July 13th, 2021 of this year, the council approved the recommendation from the evaluation committee to award this contract to Lease pursuant to RFP 23-1920 for the leasing, development, and operation of the Red Garden site, and also direct the staff to finalize the agreement, negotiate the agreement, and to bring it back for your review and final approval. The agreement, the proposed agreement, is attached to the council report and has been reviewed and vetted for legal sufficiency by our city attorney's office. Some of the highlights of the proposed agreement are as follows. The initial term of the agreement shall run through June 3rd, 2024, with 2 additional 5-year renewals for an overall duration of 13 years. Also, as reflected in the agreed-to schedule of payments, which is right now to be seen on the monitors, the rent payments for the first year will be $26,000 a month, with incremental increases over the life of the lease, which will result in a projected total payments to the city of approximately $4,915,352. I should also point out that this total does not include the additional income which we anticipate to receive from the agreed-to revenue sharing, which will start on the second year of the lease as requested by council and rises to a maximum of 5% a month throughout the lease. The payments for the first 4 months of the lease shall be abated in order to afford the vendor an opportunity to secure the necessary permits and finalize their site preparation. Nonetheless, pursuant to the contract, the negotiated agreement, they will be required to make an initial good faith deposit of $26,000 upon contract execution. The vendor has also agreed to provide the city with monthly progress reports during the time they are preparing the site for commencement of operations, and will also provide a schedule of upcoming events for review and approval by the city. The vendor shall also be responsible for providing the necessary site security as well as complying with the applicable zoning and code ordinances regarding noise, traffic, parking requirements, etc. The vendor has also agreed to incorporate community outreach as part of its business operations by providing and affording opportunities for local workforce and vendors. Finally, the city reserves the right to terminate this agreement upon written notice to the vendor based on their failure to adhere or comply with any of the terms and conditions of the proposed agreement. This concludes my presentation of the item. I should also add that there are principals of the vendor, ex-Lease, that are present here tonight in the event that you have any questions for them.
Thank you very much, Alberto Isali, our purchasing department manager. Madam City Manager, question. You don't have a contract. You didn't negotiate a contract.
No,
You want authorization for you to negotiate a contract, right?
no, this was the contract coming back.
The contract is here, right?
Yeah, this was the contract coming back.
Okay. How many years?
It's a total of 13 years, approximately. The initial term will run through June of 2024 with 2 additional 5-year terms.
No, I'm sorry, we cut that to 2 years, so it starts from
Is it 2
2021
years
to
contract?
2023, and then 2 5-year terms after that.
Optional 5 years.
Yes, option 5-year terms.
Okay, it's a 2 years contract with an option for 2-term renewal of 5 years, 5 years.
That's
right?
correct, yes.
Okay. And what will be the condition of at delivery? What you need to do? How much you gonna spend?
So we will need to, there was a theft earlier in the year, so we would need to replace the turf and we would need to replace the electrical. We believe that the cost of those would be just under the cost of what the year lease would be. So we would expend those funds towards fixing that back.
Okay, what will be on the city, what will be, okay, let's see, in the negotiation, if you need the location for city events, what, did you negotiate that part?
I believe that we have some ability to have some city events. I'd ask Mr. Destrada that we could work with them.
Yes, no, at no cost to the city. Obviously, the city has to pay for the cost of their own event, but the vendor has agreed upon...
That will make the location available to the city.
Exactly, they'll make the site available.
The way it is, and the city will, okay.
Right.
And did you negotiate how many events for the year, and what will be?
They had a set of events, but I don't know that there was a specific number, but they gave us sample events for each month. I think they were going to try to do at least...
I think that's the part that need to be taken into consideration. On the city part, that's when the city can throw events over there, if needed, and how many for the year. Something like that. I don't know if...
I'll be glad to provide that
the city
information to you.
And Jeff and
do you have a number of events in mind, Mayor?
Do
you have a number of?
No, I don't. I just want to make sure that
okay.
the city should be able to negotiate.
Well, they've agreed that. So you're saying that you want a specific number. So I'm asking, do you have a specific?
No,
number
I don't have
of events?
numbers.
Because they've already agreed that they will allow us to do events.
Okay.
Do we, Mayor, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
go ahead.
Do we have I guess, a time frame? Because they may have, events contracted on the weekend and so forth. Does it stipulate how, in advance notice the city should give before we request their site?
Yeah.
The contract doesn't go into that detail, but those are terms that we can negotiate. I don't know that they I don't know that they necessarily need to be in the agreement unless you all have something specific.
Yeah, I just
you
don't
have in
want
mind.
us imposing on them, because if they do have a contract set for 6 months and all their Saturdays are gone,
I think when it comes to things like that, we're going to have to work with them. If we decide that we want to have an event and they tell us that they're using it because they've got some light show going on for a month, are we really, as a city, going to go in and say, shut down your project?
No, that's not what we want.
I
It's,
don't
we
know
wanna
if that
act
needs
in
to
good
be in
faith.
a
We just
15-year lease, but
Yeah.
if you think differently, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Irvin?
Yes, I'm just happy to hear that you're going to be working with the local community as usual, and I would just want to make sure that you're working along with the city administration, the CRA, to do the proper attraction so that you can get the local vendors to sign up with you so that they have an opportunity to work along with you.
I make a mistake by not giving the mic to District 4 Councilman first. Okay.
Right, and then also thank you so much for the good faith of the 26,000 that you'd agreed upon. And that was, for me, that was necessary to just restore the confidence of our citizen so that they understand that we want to make this right, and we want to make sure that we make the city back whole. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Councilman Desulme?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't even know where to start. I have absolutely no issue with the applicant, because I think last time, Mr. Mayor, when we had this item up, we discussed it. There was some other thing, and I had started receiving some phone calls from Ms. Brown and all these others over there. So it's my understanding, and again, this is another shocking item, that the manager had. Today, I lied to a constituent because, a couple of days ago, prior to this came out, and I had to call them today and apologize because I was told that, we didn't have the applicant or something. So I thought that it was going to go back out to bid again. So I said, I don't know the item. So I don't know. So I'm not.
We cannot go back out to bid if we,
Mr. Mayor,
we didn't decide.
Listen to me, Mr. Mayor, please. I was told that the applicant was not.
Oh, withdraw.
They didn't say withdraw. They didn't say the word withdraw, but it was my understanding. We didn't hear back from the applicant. So if you don't hear nothing from them, I assume you start over or something, because we had talked about it and we were waiting, whatever the case is. So again, if they, and it had absolutely nothing to do with the applicant, if they did come back and we heard back from them, at least, I would have given, but, that's all I'm gonna say. That's basically it. I was not aware that the applicant did, resubmit or contact your office in terms of that. I was told that we didn't hear from them, so
Madam City Manager, do you want to elaborate on that?
The board directed us to bring back a contract. When we went back out, we gave them we went back to what was asked in the contract, and we brought back the contract as directed from the board at the last meeting for this item. With the terms that were asked for, there was an additional term in terms of audit, that we can go back and audit. That was a specific discussion at one point that I did have with the Councilman Desume, that it was added into the contract. I think that's the only response I have, is that We brought this back after finalizing the terms of the contract as we were directed by the board. At the last meeting, we could not bring it back because we had not finalized the terms with the applicant. So we didn't bring it to the direct meeting right after that last one. It took that much time. They took it back to their lawyers. Their lawyers responded to us. Once we got a contract, we brought it back to the board as directed.
If I understand, what you bring before us tonight is exactly what we discussed at the last meeting?
Yes, that's correct.
A 2 years contract instead of 3 years.
Yes, we moved the first part of the contract to be a 2-year contract. It was originally a 3-year, so we brought back a 2-year with the 2 5-year terms.
Option.
Yeah, with the options to the 5-year terms. We also were asked for the $26,000 deposit. As you recall, the first time it was a $10,000, and they came back and agreed to do the $26,000. And from there was a concern about making sure we could audit what they made in terms of the amount, so that when we start doing the profit sharing, we could see their auditing, and that was added back in there. The only other issue that we dealt with was basically who was going to work on the repairs based on the issue of the theft that we had, and we've agreed that we would take it on and we would do the repairs. So
we will be in charge of safety after the repair.
I believe it's up to them.
Yeah, once we finish the restoration of the site will be turned over to them. It will be under their control, basically their responsibility. And I'd like to add,
when they're about to return the site to the city, they have to send it back with the turf and everything, right?
That's correct. In the condition it was turned over to them. And I'd like to have Mr. Mayor and also for Councilman Desilme, principals of the firm are here.
No.
Any questions of them? Or
No,
if you'd like
we're
to-
not there yet. It's not question for them. Madam City Manager, but Councilman Desilme stated that maybe from you, we heard that the applicant did not answer your call. That's when he was under the impression that we were
There was a
gonna move
question
forward and
about whether it
cancel.
was coming on the next meeting, and at that point, we were still having a discussion. It was still going back and forth. So there was a meeting in between the last meeting where we directed to bring it back. During that time, we didn't bring it to the next meeting. And the reason why we didn't bring it to the next meeting is because we hadn't gotten back and finalized the final contract to the terms.
Okay, but as far as communication, is there a lack of communication? If Councilman-
They had not responded back to bringing back the terms, but it wasn't that I didn't know whether we were going to have the contract. It was, we sent back what we were going to go from here. They needed to go to their attorneys. So it did not make it in time to get to the last meeting, which would have been the direct meeting after we had the discussion. So it skipped the meeting to come back. That's the only thing I know, is that we were directed to bring it back at the next meeting. That meeting, we had not yet finalized. We didn't get it back from them. We brought it to the very next meeting that we have the sign, that they're ready and prepared to do the contract.
But at this time, let's see, Councilman Desilme decided to approve the item tonight, and you're gonna sign a contract. How long is gonna take for you to turn over the key to the applicant?
We approximate that for us to do the repairs and turn it to them, it would be approximately 2 months to get the turf back and the work done, and then the electrical work.
Another question, you're gonna do the repair and turn it over to the applicant?
Yes.
And as far as cost, if you turn it over to them the way it is,
So
can they do the work quickly than the city?
They may be able to. They were not willing to agree to do the work beforehand. And based on the solicitation that was put out and when they did the walkthrough, we did have the turf and that electrical in the building at the time. So we're going to move as fast as we can to get it done and turned over. In fact, I did direct that if this were to be passed tonight, that we would try to get started with the work.
Can we Can we hear from the applicant?
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. Vic Jean-Claude, Principal. Ex-Lace, Martin, President of Business Development.
My question to you, based on the negotiation with the city administration, when you think they would turn over the location to you?
Assuming all repairs are done and the site is brought back up to the status from our original walkthrough, we are ready to hit the ground running operationally. We have the infrastructure and the corporate structure of the company already built out. We have everything ready to go with respect to the website, booking engines, collateral materials, everything associated with the new Nomi Village, be the name of the site. It is a community-based corporate incentive-run site, so we would be ready to go from day one as soon as the fees are over. We'd be ready to bring in our security, we'd be ready to start booking, and we'd be ready to start our activations, which will starting with a series of community-based incentives in order to rally the community around what we're doing there.
As far as the city and using the site for maybe city event or public events and things like that, and do you have any problem with that?
No, we're not opposed to that at all. As a matter of fact, in the beginning stages, I think I know you guys usually hold 4 or 5 major events throughout the course of the year.
Sure.
For us, it's just a matter of scheduling. That's all it is. You need the site. If it's available, you guys are more than welcome to it.
And you will have a snapshot of availability because there will be a running calendar on the website so that for the entire year, there's a live feed of everything that's happening on site. Also, per event, you will be able to simulcast to see whatever is happening on site through the website. It'll also carry all Instagram feeds throughout the site. We're very capable of this. Just a few months ago, we handled the entire initiative for the city of Miami and their 125th anniversary. From soup to nuts, our company handled that entire function of a week of events. So we know what we're doing, and we have a reputation to protect as well. So we are certainly putting our best foot forward in order to make this city proud of what we're going to be able to produce there, starting with a Helping Haiti Help Itself initiative, which will be a quarterly initiative on that site, which we're very excited about, and we've already identified corporate partners to really kick that off. I can't give the details right now, but once we're ready, I think you'll be happy with what we've been able to put together.
Another question for city residents, right? Will you have a discount for city residents, city employee, and
even more than that, we will have an incubator system.
We don't want like any favor from.
No, absolutely not. But we will have
all
our goal.
City residents and.
Our goal is to enrich the community.
Okay.
Right? We want to allow people to become self-sufficient. So if there's an opportunity for a valet company to come in, for example, for parking, we would rather take a local business person and put them in our incubator and train them on how to operate a valet company and then contract with them. That way we're turning money over into the community and we're creating opportunities in the community. And we have a detailed plan on how we would structure it.
Thank you very much. And can you tell me 1, 2, 3 what you expect the city to do?
Sure. 1, 2, 3. Repair the site, which means put the sod down, or the artificial grass, the turf that's back there. Repair electrical, right? And to present the site back to the way that it was originally, and then just.
What's the way? When you said the way with.
Not generally, when we first saw it.
Okay.
Right? So we have an idea with respect to what the expectation is.
When you went for inspection,
exactly,
the site
exactly.
at the time of. Okay. Right. But at that time, you didn't have those tents? And
No tents.
No.
We didn't have any of that on
Okay.
there. The only thing that we expect that would bring it back to where it was is the turf. and the
Electrical and turf and
That's
things
right.
like that. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Councilman Esimeova.
I just have one last question. So once we turn, Madam City Manager, once we turn the site to them in 2 months, that's when the clock starts for their 4 months free?
That's my understanding, yes.
Wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Galvin.
No question. Thank you for
Councilman
what you did.
Desilmay. You told us that you don't want that in the 150th anniversary of the city of Miami.
The 125th anniversary, that was our company that piloted that entire initiative.
How many events it was?
There were,
one in
there were
Biscayne Bay,
16 events within 1 week. And we built the website, all collateral materials were ours, the entire business structure. There were some members of the council that were actually at the main event.
I actually attended.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And our company did it from A to Z.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, to the manager. City manager, how much is this site costing the city now per year?
It's an estimation that it's about 200,000. So when it first became leased, it was about 187, but there's a multiplier for each year over the years. So it's going to go up to just under, probably close to 300,000 in the last years.
The budget is 350 for this year.
Yeah.
And do they have like a projection of how much income this site is expected to bring to the city? Did you guys do any projection or financial analysis?
We did. If you can allow me to present that to you privately, I'd be happy to do that. I wouldn't want to do it in open session. I would love to do it privately, but we do have those projections. With COVID, obviously, those are tempered. These are, best case scenario type projections that we've worked on and floated. But we would be happy to go back into private council with you guys just to sit down and crunch the numbers with you. But we've done things. We built this thing from the inside out. So we built it from the very scratch, knowing that we want to go through this entire lease period. And we've done those estimates for every 2 years that we're in operation. So we roll it over every 2 years so that we can see exactly where we are. So we have a book about this thick on our operation, and we're pretty confident about it.
And when are you expecting to be fully operated? When do you foresee?
I think once the site is delivered, we're ready to hit the ground running. We wish we could have it ready for the holiday season. We had a huge carnival company that was interested in a enchanted forest type theme there, but I don't think we're going to be ready in time. And that would have been a full month on the site. Full month paid in full in advance on the site.
And to the administration, how soon do we foresee us, turning over this site?
2 months at least.
2 months. No further questions.
Thank you very much. We are tab I. Councilman Desilmay, the question?
No, sir.
Can you move the item? Tab I.
Will you be opening it up to public?
Oh, sorry, Madam Clerk, thank you very much. That's why we have a lawyer as a city clerk. Public hearing is open on tab I.
I'll go ahead and begin with a previously submitted comment.
Oh.
Tab I, Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street, North Miami, Florida 33168. The city and CRA continue to squander the possibility of the development of the Sunkist Grove community. The theft of our opportunity evidences itself this time by awarding the only respondent to the hidden RFP with a contract. It is pitiful to now sublease the leased Red Garden site with a new, undisclosed assessment of restoration costs due to the city's neglect of the site. This again illustrates the gross neglect of the city and its lack of commitment to its citizens. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. That is all I have.
Oh, thank you very much. Can I motion? Public hearing is open on tab I. Public hearing is now closed. Can I motion on the item?
I'll move approval unless Mr. Desilmay wants to. It's in his district.
Sir, I'm not voting for the item.
Second.
Gotcha. Okay, move approval.
Thank you.
What do you mean you're not voting for the item? That's your item.
Did you second, Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, don't play. Don't play.
You approved the item the other day, and you was excited.
I have a motion
No,
made by
it was
Councilman
not.
Galvin to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
Thank you.
The tweet too.
Was there a second nay?
Me.
The motion carries with a 3-2 vote.
Thank you very much. Tab J. Thank you very much. And,
Good luck.
Yes, best of luck, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tab J, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the award of fiscal year 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant Cdbg funds to not-for-profit community-based organizations, CBOs, as required by 24 CFR 570.201, parentheses capital E, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab J.
I would pass the floor to our Director for Housing and Social Services, Albert Bazil.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Albert Bazil, Housing and Social Services Director, to the City Manager. Back in June 22nd, we brought the action plan approving the allocation for CDBG and home funding from HUD. Part of the allocation from the CDBG went toward public services. And today we are here with the awardee, people who were awarded funding to the public services. So what we did, as required by regulation, we put out an RFP. It was open for a good 15 days. The applicant posted their proposal. We put together, they changed the name. It's not an evaluation committee anymore. It's an advisory panel board. We went through those proposals. 11 people applied. Out of the 11 people, 7 were awarded funding. And I'm not too sure how, Mr. Mayor, you want to proceed. In the past, they used to allow each applicant to present their project for 2 minutes, and then the final decision will come from you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation and the CBOs, and then we're going to open it to the public, and then public hearing is open. And tab J, if there's any comment during public hearing, if any one from those applicants want to speak, whether you were approved or rejected, if you feel like you want 2 minutes to explain yourself, you're free to come during public hearing. Public hearing is open.
Good evening, Mayor and all others. I am Bob Cook. I'm the Executive Director for the North Miami Foundation. I just want to share a little bit about the organization.
Please, Bob, can you say your name?
First name Bob, last name Cook. I'm the Executive Director for the North Miami Foundation.
You replace Debbie?
Sorry?
You replace Debbie?
Debbie retired.
You replace her, right?
I did.
You have a lot to do.
Please state your address.
To fill her shoes.
You're right.
Please state your address.
How she's doing?
She's good. She's enjoying
good.
her retired life.
Can you say your address, please, for the record?
Sorry,
Your address, your name and address.
The address is 620 Northeast 127th Street, North Miami, Florida, 33161. We really plead with you guys. Our mission is to maximize the opportunities for the elderly folks that are frail and otherwise in the Northeast Miami-Dade County. Our effort really is to maintain their personal independence and enhance their overall quality of life by providing a very wide, broad array of social services. To achieve our mission, some of the things that we really do is caring and consistent service provided by our staff, provided by the volunteers, provided by the foundation. There's a commitment to excellence on the part of everyone who provides services for the frail elderly that come through our organization. We provide a very broad, wide array of services such as in-home screening and assessment, counseling, social work, transportation to and from the grocery store. One of our main objectives is to deliver.
Go ahead.
Is to deliver home-delivered meals, consumer medical supplies, volunteer and homemaker services. Last year, we served over 500 clients and provided approximately 78,000 meals in our service area. In addition to the funds received from the Cdbg, from the city grant, we provide additional unmatched, unrestricted funds of approximately $1,300 to support additional services that may be needed. Again, we try to provide, and we do connect our frail elderly with needed services. We also provide to them services, again, such as transportation, to and from the grocery store to the pharmacies. We provide homemaker services, counseling, and social services. But our really main item and objective is to provide home-delivered hot meals 7 days a week, both breakfast and lunch, to the frail seniors 65 and over in age that meet all the requirements for the Cdbg funds for the program year.
And you're talking about all residents of the city?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
For all residents in the city?
For the Northeast Miami-Dade area, North Miami, yes.
You said Northeast?
Those who are...
For all residents in North Miami?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Who meet the criteria, yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Public hearing still...
I have a previously submitted comment. Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street, North Miami, Florida, 33168. What/who are the community-based organizations receiving block grant funding? How much are they getting? For what purpose? How many people will they serve?
Can you answer the question? Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed.
I'll move approval of the recommendations from staff.
I have some questions.
Withdraw my.
You're gonna. Thank you very much. You have a question or recommendation?
Both.
Okay.
Question through the mayor to the city administration. How many CBOs did we have last year that were awarded? Do you have that number?
Last year we have 13. 9 were awarded.
Out of 13, you had 9.
And do you know how much did everyone receive last year? Like how many of the ones now are returning? And what was their, do you have that data from last year?
No, I don't have this data from last year, how much they received, but I can tell you from the one who were awarded this year, they are all returning recipient, with the exception of Extended Hands. That's the first time we're working with them. Community Health and Empowerment, at some point worked with us, and we didn't have it for 1 or 2 years, and she just came back. She's not new with the program, but she was not awarded last year.
Then, yep. And what was the process for those that were, I guess, the ones that were denied? It was.
Well, the good thing this year, they all meet the Cdbg national objectives. So all the projects were meet the national objective, if I can say it like that. However, the way the Cdbg program is being advertised right now, due to COVID, we need to respond to the urgent need. So basically, the way we talk to our advisory board before they review those application, they needed to focus on people delivering urgent need, services that meet an urgent need.
Does
So-
it have to be a COVID?
No. Because we got some activity here. For instance, the expert is not a COVID-related project. They are doing housing counseling. We have North Miami Foundation. It's a continuity. They used to serve the people hot meals. So some people are not, we have mental health from MJD. So not all of them are COVID-related, but it's a need, an urgent need that deserves to be, that needs to be addressed.
And then my last question is, because of COVID, I know, I guess for the CBOs, did it add a constraint or did it provide a savings? Because maybe now you're not renting buildings or now you're virtual and it's more. Oh, I said because of COVID, did it provide a restraint to their end year when they submitted all their invoicing and, their program evaluation? Did it show that there was a greater need or a shorter need or no?
Nothing has changed.
Okay. The only one that I would like to see awarded, and I don't know how we want to do this.
Where it is.
Is the Taboo Academy. That one was not awarded, but they want to do tennis and exercise to assist the children. I think right now a lot of our services.
What you can do, how much you need for them?
If we can get them to 10, that'd be great because we need to address childhood obesity, nutrition for our children.
You cannot get 10 because all the other one have 10. That's when, if you can get 8, take 1,000 each people to address 8.
Because right now we have how many? 7?
7. Everybody,
You have
I think
7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 organizations were awarded 10,000. One were awarded 15, and Prosperity 15, and North Miami Foundation 25,000.
You just
So for
take
the ones that were-
1,000 from the 7 to get $7,000 for that.
But for the 2 that was awarded more, can we take 2K from them? I said for the 2 that were awarded more. So you have 1 at 25, 1 at 15. 1 at 25, 1 at 15.
Can you speak into the mic?
No, 1,000. Can you take 1,000 each? And you get $7,000. Right? It's 7 rewarded, right?
Yes.
Okay, if you take 1,000 each, you have 7. But the day,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Marie-Estime Irvin?
I don't have any questions. That was actually my concern. I liked that program. It was one of the only ones that had a sport element to it, and it's a youth program, so that's always dear to my heart. So I'm happy.
Thank you.
I mean that we can agree to fund them.
Councilman Desiree?
I'm sorry. Good evening, Ms. Albert. What are the 7 programs or organizations that were approved?
We have the
I need the tops.
North Miami Foundation, it's hot meals, delivery to elderly, Prosperity, mental health, Expert, housing counseling, MJD, mental health, community empowerment, mental health, Extended Hands, it's much likely public health, and finally, Avenue of Excellence is job training skills. Those are the 7.
Okay. Because I got an email from, what is it, Prosperity Community? Did they send you the email that they withdrawing, that they didn't want to deal with us?
I didn't get the email, but she did have a conversation with our social service administrator when we called to confirm their presence tonight. She said she's going to decline the funds.
Did we say why? Did we ask her why?
No.
Oh.
What's the
Okay,
name?
so
You said which one?
That's,
Which one?
Prosperity.
They're declining the grant from today?
Yeah, but I didn't get any official. That's why I didn't mention it. I didn't get anything official.
Okay.
We had a conversation, a telephonic conversation. Usually when you award it, you need to send something in writing. I didn't have anything in writing.
Oh, okay. So you want me to, well, I guess forward you the email, the email of withdrawal that she got, but, so she had a conversation with you and said
Yes,
she
I
would
spoke to
withdraw.
her. I spoke to her at least twice.
Okay, and she said she didn't want the grant
No,
anymore.
I didn't have, we have other conversation. She spoke to our social services administrator when we called her to remind her to be present tonight for this meeting. She said, no, I'm not gonna be there because I declined the funding. But I didn't talk to her personally.
But she didn't, okay.
So, so Prosperity is an organization that I know very well, and I've partnered with them, and I know they do great things. I'm not comfortable with us. Is there a way that we can?
We're not going to make any decision tonight until we're going to approve it as it is. If further they decided and they don't want to participate, you know, sometimes they have to issue paperwork because it's a federal government regulation. They have to provide things that mean if they feel like they don't want it, then housing and social service.
What
Let me make sure I understand.
We're going to approve it right now because they've been rewarded. If they send an official letter, they want to withdraw, she can bring it back and maybe we.
Right, and if she does bring it back, then I would be interested in funding the, is it Taboo Academy more? So anyway, I just want to say that for the record.
That's not where we are now. What we are doing now is to approve it as it is with the amendments of taking 1,000 from everybody to add 7,000 for
the other one,
for the Taboo, and then in the future, if they decided that Prosperity decided that they don't want it, then that's a different negotiation. Okay? Thank you.
Move approval?
second, as is with the amendment.
With the
Yes,
amendment.
yes.
Okay, that's fine.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the item at tab J with the stated amendments. The
I'm
motion
sorry, Madam Clerk, I just want to clarify.
The
Move
state
approval with the amendments?
Yes.
The amendment
Okay, just want to make
is
sure we
take
didn't, I don't think we said that.
$1,000 from each rewarded applicant to fulfill the need of
Taboo.
what's it, Taboo?
Right, I just wanted to make sure we put the amendments on the record.
Yeah,
all.
that's
Thank you.
That's exactly what was said. So the motion was seconded by Councilman Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much.
So the item
You
is
have
going
9 instead of 10.
Mr. Mayor, the item is going to come back. Ms. Albert?
But
This
no,
one.
if for some reason
with the email.
they can do
okay.
it administratively. It's under $25,000 from what I understand. Madam Clerk, where we are? What
Tab
time?
K.
Tab what?
Tab K.
Oh my God,
Go ahead.
we're not going home tonight.
A proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the execution of a second option to renew professional services agreement in substantially the attached form between the City of North Miami and Brown & Brown of Florida, Inc., doing business as T.R. Jones and Company, for the provision of excess workers' compensation insurance coverage at a cost not to exceed $161,821, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab K.
This is,
Please
Thank you
speak into
very
your
much.
mic.
It's Workman conversation. Let's open it to the public. If there's any question, and you will address it. All right?
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I will.
Public hearing is open on tab K. Public hearing is open on tab K. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval?
Second. It's Workman conversation. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab K. The motion was seconded by Mayor Bieneme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Tab L.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Tab L, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to execute a second option to renew professional services agreement in substantially the attached form between the City of North Miami and Risk Management Associates, Inc., doing business as public risk insurance advisors for the continuation of public official and employment practices liability insurance coverage services at the annualized premium amount of $94,463, including applicable agency service fees as required by Florida law, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab L.
Thank you very much. Tab L is open to the public. Public hearing is open on tab L. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you.
I have a motion made by Councilman Desilme to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Tab M.
Tab M, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager or designee to issue purchase orders for the purchase of the following equipment: 1 mobile light tower, 1 trailer, 1 excavator, 3 mobile message boards, 2 mobile bypass pumps, and 3 lawnmowers at an approximate aggregate cost of $240,000 from various competitively selected vendors utilizing the cooperative purchasing provision pursuant to Section 7-169 of the City Code. On a contract awarded through the Florida Sheriff's Association under contract number FSA 20-EQU 18.0, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab M.
Thank you very much. It's to purchase equipment for the city, for the public works and things like that. And let's open it to the public. Tab M is open to the public. Tab M is closed.
Move approval.
Second.
Mr. Mayor.
It's buying equipment.
Yes, I know, but
Yes, go ahead.
what are the equipments for? Can I know?
It's more. It's land mower and things like that for the pump stations.
Yeah, can we elaborate on that?
It's pump.
Can you please
the pump
speak into your
stations.
mics?
It's operation. There's not. We don't know nothing about operation. It's operation for the pump station to be. Those are operation for the city. We're not expert on station. Can I motion on the dais to approve tab M?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the item at tab M. The motion was seconded by Mayor Ganame. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's pump station. You don't want to want the pump
The motion
station.
carries with the motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
Yeah.
Tab N.
Tab N.
A proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, adopting a revised classification and pay plan for classified and unclassified employees of the city for the 2021-2022 fiscal year, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab N.
Tab N. Tab N is open to the public. We have Human Resources Director for any question. Tab N is open to the public. Tab N is closed. Council members, question? Councilman Desilme?
No, I'm scared to ask questions.
That's the one. That's the important thing we need. The other one is a pump.
No,
to fix the pump station.
It doesn't matter,
The
Mr.
city have
Mayor.
a flooding situation and then it pump station.
But we know, but we have to, you got to allow us to ask questions, because if we don't, it's $250,000 almost. So that is it doesn't matter if it's a dollar.
Those are operations.
I understand that, but the people just did not send us here to
It's
just
just
vote on.
operation.
Well, I did not know, Mr. Mayor. I did not know about
That's
the items.
operation
That's
of
fine.
a pump station.
Man, everything here is operation.
It's part of a pump station.
I mean, Joe standing here, that's operation. Everything is operation.
It's like they need to buy land.
But we got to go home. We got to go. We got to
I'll
go.
buy a pizza for anybody who adjourns a meeting by 10.
Okay, now.
Let's just go through it.
Now that's the. Can you give us a quick explanation on what it is? I say pay plan. When you're talking about pay plan, classifying and classifying, I think that's the
operation.
important thing. That's not operation.
What is it?
That's classifying and classified. That's got to do with union. That's not operation. Yes,
so
sir.
the unclassified are the higher level positions considered at will. Classified are positions that are covered by the personnel board. People in classified positions have appeal rights to any disciplinary action, to terminations, suspensions. Unclassified employees do not. Very typical in the personnel field. We're not different than many other municipalities. We have these pay plans, classified and unclassified, which you approve. The manager has approved it first. It goes to the personnel board. The personnel board has reviewed it in a public meeting. They've already approved it. You're the final approval.
But you said a revised classification and
So
pay
there's
plan.
minor revisions this year.
What are the
Typically, we do a
revisions?
lot more revisions. We do surveys every year to maintain competitiveness in the market. So this year, we do the surveys, but we offered the bargaining units, as you all know, we've had executive session, we're in negotiations with both IUPA Blue and White and the PBA, and we've made very conservative offers because it's the desire of this administration to balance our budget. So since we're being conservative with our bargaining units, we're also conservative with our unclassified and classified pay plan.
Are you telling me they accept the 1% COLA?
The 1% COLA is included. That was already presented in the budget process and approved in the budget process. So you're not approving the 1% COLA today. You're simply approving the minor revisions to the pay plan.
Can you elaborate on the revision?
It's included in the pay plan.
What it is, can you specify?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Can you specify the revision? You just say.
He's asking to specify the minor revision that you're referring to that's in the pay plan.
I'm still not clear on the question.
I guess how many
You
positions
said the
were changed?
How many,
resolution,
with the number of
right?
positions? It's approximately, I'd have to sit here and count them. So there, I know the PBA has about 100 in the PBA. The IUPA, Blue and White, they represent about the same number. I believe there's about 100 in this pay plan too.
Madam City Manager, and I think from our executive session, you had to go and negotiate with the PBA and other union and things like that.
Yeah, so we're still working on that. So what you're saying is like some things might be classified in terms of just changing like a description or fixing something of that sort. So it's pretty minor because we didn't come into an agreement. Although we do have like the 1% that's considered part of it that came with the budget. However, until there's an agreement, it actually goes to those that were unrepresented until we finalize any agreement with the union.
What are we approving now?
You're just approving the pay plan that was technically already approved with the budget. It's just that
You're telling me that all we are doing is approving what was stated in the budget.
that's correct.
The tools for you to go and negotiate.
Yes.
So this is largely procedural. The civil service rules require that we present this to you annually for approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Tab N is open to the public. Public hearing is open on tab N. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab N. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tab O.
A proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the conveyance of 2 city-owned properties located at 975 Northwest 132nd Street and 12505 Northwest 11th Avenue to the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, NMCRA. Further authorizing the city manager to execute warranty deeds and any other necessary closing documents for the conveyance of the properties, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you very
Tab
much.
O.
Thank you, Councilman Desulme. You're the sponsor of the
item. Yes, Mr. Mayor, in reference to tab O, this was 2 years ago we started the process. I think we had this came up, if the city attorney recalled, we had talked about, specifically, there was a list of vacant properties in the city, and we were decided in terms of what we were doing. The items were presented. I didn't really know much about it. I think we had decided to pull it over. After that particular meeting, I had a conversation with, back then, the former city manager, Mr. Spring, along with the city attorney, and it was like we were going to do something in reference to what we wanted to do with these particular 2 properties. I had spoke to the current city manager, and I think the items were going on in a couple of months. And I did see there was something that we did a couple of weeks ago, I believe, or a couple of months ago, in one of the items. It was very swiftly moved in terms of the process. So I asked the CRA if they could take these so that we could kind of smoothly move it along, because it's been almost 2 years since this item came back, and I saw how quickly the other two kind of moved up. But this really, I think, due to COVID, was the time that we had the particular incident, the item not moving fast enough, and I believe several residents I came in terms of what was happening with the particular property. And this is the vacant property that's on 975, and then the other one is right across from the pool. And is Marie in here from from housing? So both of these properties, residents. Well, Albert is here. Yeah, I think Miss Cuevas, I don't recall her name fully. Yes, one of the residents who had questioned about the property, why it was taking so long. I had forgot about it. So they did have a conversation with Marie, and I told them that this would be an item that I will make sure that was moving fast enough. This is a residence of either Ms. Perez or something, to make sure that the item moved fast. So do you recall having, or were you part of the conversation when Marie, or did she express to you the residents?
No, sir.
Okay. So that's why I kind of wanted these two properties we got to do something in terms of that.
Let's open it to the public. Public is now open.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Quite quickly, a request approval to move this along. Support from the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Taboo. Public hearing is now closed.
Move approval. I have some questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Were these repetitive lots properties, like they're just vacant lots? Or
Madam City Manager,
do you know if these were repetitive lots properties? Are these just empty vacant lots? Were there properties on them before?
The city attorney.
Do we know what was there?
I know one of the properties, the one by Sasso Pool, I believe that was from a foreclosure. I mean, normally when we have these properties, it's either we foreclose on the properties. That's usually what happened. I know for sure the one for Sasso was through a foreclosure.
And the other one on 975 is an empty lot. It's a piece of land.
I'm not sure how we acquired that one.
Okay. So, Councilman, if you can, just because I wasn't here 2 years ago, so I'm not familiar with your plans. So, for these vacant lots, when we convey it to the CRA, what is the CRA doing with this?
I have absolutely, in terms of, I know one of the requests that was made, they were either doing advertising it. I don't know the particular process, but one of the processes, they advertise it. And one of the things I was very clear on, I said it needed to be whatever we could do in terms of either employee or resident who is in the city that could, purchase this. And I believe the conversation started maybe 2.5 years ago with back then city manager, Mr. Spring, and the city attorney. But I'm surprised, Albert, the resident, Ms. Perez, I believe that's her name, Ms. Perez, she came specifically here when we had the item, and she spoke about it, and she had a conversation with Marie, because she called me, and she's a nurse at Jackson. I asked her specifically, is there something that you will need from the city? Because I think the option that we were talking about, either the city would fix it. She said no, she would buy it. If whatever that it's advertised, because I think it has to advertise, and the city would, the residents would, or the employee, whoever would need to get it, whatever the percentage is. But as the director of the department, Miss Albert, Marie never shared with you the conversation, because it was several email also.
So our goal is to give it to the CRA to sell it. So what's the difference between the CRA selling it and the city selling it?
It was within the city. It was taking about 3 or 4 months, and the conversation that I had with the city managers, how quick, and specifically we had in my office, is like, how quick can we get these properties out? Because it's been like 3 or 4 months, and I believe when I saw the process of the last property that we had on here from?
Oh, it hasn't
120?
sold yet.
Yeah, the difference
He
between
hasn't yet.
the last one was.
I thought it was quicker.
No, the last one was kind of different because it was a foreclosure and the city didn't have the money, the CRA paid for it, and they turned it over to the CRA, and the CRA decided to do
When I called-
whatever they want with it, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's going to be up to us to bring it back and decide it. But, and I'm okay with it to move it forward, especially 975, it's an empty lot. Why you didn't include 137? You have an empty
No,
lot.
the one on 137, that's what, Ms. Albert, do you know about that property on 137? Okay. The one on 137, yes, yeah, but they can't do any, the conversation that I had with Marie, the housing manager, they couldn't build on it because it was, I guess the water. Yeah, that's exactly what she said, in terms of that.
Okay, let's open it to the public, yes.
It could be a park
Oh, we
or
already
something.
closed it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we already closed it.
It-
No, because my thing is, I just want to make sure that we're getting, market rate value for land right now.
Oh.
Yeah, because I know that.
You will get over.
Yes, I don't think.
But the thing is,
No, because
there's
the
a
CRA
shortage.
the CRA isn't abided by the city's code. The city requires that you get it for what is it, 90% of the appraised value. So the CRA doesn't have to follow that.
But the problem is, it's not the value. Anybody gonna pay 10, 20,000 over price for it. That's mean. If you open it tomorrow, you're gonna have 100 buyers.
Whatever that you have.
Over, but what we need, the problem we have, there's an affordable housing and shortage in North Miami. You gotta make sure if we're gonna sell our land, it's available to affordable people. Because right now you can have a developer give you twice of whatever the appraised value is.
But if the goal is to make it affordable housing or make it housing for resident or employees,
I believe so.
can we ensure that we create that process so that when we do give it to the CRA, we're saying, hey, you are creating a project or, if you're going to build this housing or this is what is specified. So that it's not going to these, LLCs who's going to buy it and then flip it and sell it for $500,000.
The conversation I had maybe 2 years ago, Mr. Kazo, you remember with former manager then, was in terms of, I don't know the legality of it. That was always the intent, but I don't know. They have to advertise it. Was it residents?
But as far as 975, for example,
it's an empty lot.
Owners living in
No, it's an empty lot.
in the middle of
it's an
two
empty
owners.
lot.
We should give the
And
opportunity
then,
to one of these owners.
well, whatever the conversation I had with my concern was exactly your concern, that we don't have, but I don't think we could legally stop it, whatever the case is.
We
So,
cannot sell it to a developer. Period.
well, no,
As long as
I don't think you could say that.
You
or
can
could
say
do
that. You can.
Mr. Attorney.
Is the
You
CRA
can only
directed
give
here?
land and say it's got to be affordable, and there's
Yeah, but
there's issues that. Yes.
May I ask a question, please? Can we get a little bit of guidance, Mr. Attorney? Apparently the will, and I'm in agreement with that, is that any housing that we acquire, or that we have, that we foreclose on, that we make it available preferably to employees or North Miami residents that are, that in an affordable way. So is there a policy? I mean, how do we go about that?
Okay, so just as background and what Councilman Desame is alluding to, I think way back when I first got here, one of the things that we did was we got a list of all of the city-owned properties. I don't know if anyone remembers this.
Yes.
We got a list of the city-owned properties, and we came to the council and asked the council to come up with a policy on how to distribute these properties, how to dispose of the properties. That item came, I think, 2 or 3 times for the council,
Yes.
and it didn't pass. And so we don't have a policy on how to. The conversation you're having today.
You have to
is
say
the
some
conversation
people on the
that-
council say they're
But so
not
now you're having
aligned
a
with
conversation
selling city land.
Yes,
we wanted
exactly.
You have to use that's the language of the
That
council.
never- Right, that never happened, and so we don't have a policy. And so when the question came with that last piece of property, we didn't really have a policy. The council just came and said, hey, we want to give this to the CRA, and so we did. And so again, here we have another 2 pieces of property where the council is saying, we want to turn this over to CRA, and so we did. But there is no policy on what we do with that property once it's turned over.
Just to clarify that, and I do agree with Mr. Attorney, it was just a process of which one is faster, because it's been the email that Madam Director, I forwarded you the email, and I just pulled it up in my email. It's Ms. Gussman, when we had I say Ms. Burroughs, I'm sorry, it's Ms. Gussman. And I forwarded you the email. She sent an email, and that was just a follow-up. This was right before COVID in 2020, and she was talking about that particular piece of property. She said, I missed the council meeting last night. Actually, I watched a recap of it this morning. For some years, I've been interested in purchasing the property on 125th Street and Northwest 11th Avenue. Ms. Veronica Guzman, I think you guys, she used to come to the meeting all the time here. And so she went and talked about the property. So when she came and spoke to me, I said, I don't know, go ahead and deal with, and several other residents, I said, go ahead and deal with Marie. So that's what I was a little bit, Marie didn't share that with the director. So it's been going on in terms of that. And I just wanted to, if we're doing something with it, it's which process is quicker?
I think right now, City Attorney, how long would it take if the city were to sell a property? Like, how long would it take you guys?
I mean, it's put it on, I mean, we'd have to, I don't know if we have someone on.
I think,
already.
My thing is, I think we need to have a process.
I
Because
think
we
we
can't
have-
cherry
It's
pick
not-
which
it's-
property
it
we
would
want to
just be
give away.
advertising the property and selling it. I mean, we need, yeah.
I remember we went that on at the meeting, all the property that the city owned. And what we were trying to do is try to sell them to build affordable housing. And
Correct.
I remember people on the dais said no, they don't want to sell city property, and Councilman Desulme was a big advocate against that we don't sell city property. We find another way of dealing with it. Now, if you want to change that, can we allow the city attorney to come up with the right policy and how we can sell those city land or city property?
Mr. Mayor, you could do whatever the board, No, I'm just saying that whatever
Because
the board.
last time it was before us, all the city land, all the city property.
Yes, and the objection that I had with that was I didn't even know, and some of my property was on there in terms of what was in my district. So what I said, and I think Ms. Guzman and other residents was here talking about it. So I said, I asked the city attorney back then city manager, I said, what way can we find that where these properties could either go to employees or to city residents who,
But it's not just, understand that.
Mr. Mayor.
We keep saying city residents.
Yeah.
We need to invite people to come live in our city. If someone is coming from elsewhere and they want to live in the city, that's good for the city too.
Right, but it may be with the caveat of having priority to employees and to residents that are
But we want to invite
are
people to
rental.
move in our
No,
city so
yeah,
we can
so
increase
that's why
our
we would
population.
That's why we need to work on
Yeah.
that policy.
Mr. Mayor,
So-
can I suggest that we table this item and bring it back with the policy?
No, it's too much table tonight. Let's just, you guys could vote against it and we just move forward and then have Mr. The attorney bring the resolution.
No, we're not
into
voting
the-
against it.
Councilman, if you would
Can we
allow-
speak on one?
No,
minute?
we're not voting against it. We just need to understand that, Councilman Desulme, the city attorney prepare a resolution, come up with everything last time, and you said, no, you don't want to do that. Not in District 4. You didn't want anybody to touch District 4.
And I stated why, Mr. Mayor.
But when you come for something for the entire city, now if you decided to change your position, is to direct
No,
the
I did
city
not.
attorney to come back with the same proposal and come before us so we can move forward for the entire city.
Okay, but Mr. Mayor, I did not, there was no position that was changed. And if you go back and review the tape, the opposition that I had with that, I was not consulted in terms of properties that they wanted to move forward. And I didn't know anything about it, just like a lot of things that are happening tonight. So, like I said, this is going back since 2000, this was before the pandemic. So if tonight, now that how we got on here right now is a different story. If the council will is to come up with a policy, whatever, because I do not mind, but I'm just letting you know this is not something that just came out. This has been for years, for at least
I don't
2
have any
years
problem
in terms of
with
going with
that.
it.
The thing is, turn it over to the CRA without a clear understanding on what they're going to be doing with it. That's where we have the problem. I'm okay moving forward with the two properties.
What do you mean, what the CRA got to do with it? What do you mean, what they got to do with it?
If they're going to sell it, if they're going to fix it and put it in the market, or if they're going to... They
don't keep it. From my understanding, Mr. Mayor, the purpose of this item was how quick can we get rid of these properties to whoever that needs to get it. And the city had it for a couple months. I had the conversation with the city manager, and it was still there. I said, what would be the best way quicker for us to? It's still here.
No,
so
I
in terms of that, okay.
But you see, the property we turn over to the CRA. They put it in the market for...
It was within 2 weeks.
For sale.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when they're going to bring it before us, I feel like we should turn it over. I said, me as one vote, to turn it over to social service and housing so they can use NSP money to repair it and put it in the market for lease for people in need. That's mean I understand we move quick by turn it over to the CRA, but at the end of the day, they're gonna have to bring it back to see if we're okay with the sale.
Listen, Mr. Mayor, whatever the need of the council or the direction of the council will be okay.
Madam Clerk.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, did we open it to the public?
We did.
You did.
We did, and we close it. Can I hear motion on tab O, please?
I had a motion to table the item until we have a policy.
And I will second that, Councilman, and I want to tell you why, because I would like to make sure that we have a cohesive policy so that we're not doing one property one way and another property another way, and we have an understanding as a board, and I think hopefully we should be able to do that.
I think the city attorney have that already.
So that's why I
all the
want to, I know it's in your district, and I'm
but
usually...
that resolution fell.
Right, and
because we were talking about the Solemia and everything, we said we don't want to sell. We don't want to sell city land.
Solemia.
Right.
It was a package. He said, I've been here for quite some time. I remember things what people are saying.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to table the item at tab O. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
Can someone remove the motion, please? Let's go. Councilwoman Timothy removed the motion. She removed it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries
Tab P.
with a 3-2 vote. Tab P, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the Public Rights Project, a project of the Tide Center, Community Justice Project, and Southern Poverty Law Center to file a lawsuit on behalf of the City of North Miami, Florida, that facially challenges Section 1 of CS/HB1 2021, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab P.
It's the first time I heard that. What's that?
Okay, I'm just going to speak on it then. So this item was brought to us by Councilman Desmond. I believe he's the sponsor on this. So what this is asking is to allow the city to join a litigation. As you know, or you may know, I think a few weeks ago, the governor passed an executive order basically saying that if a city reduces its police budget, that it could go to the state, and the state could take over and decide that you can't change your budget, something to that effect. So this is basically a home rule issue. Obviously, one of the issues we thought of is, if one year we decide to buy something for the police, like the body-worn cameras, and it increases our budget by $300,000 or so. The following year, after you've made that expenditure, if you try to reduce your budget by $300,000, the state could come in and mandate that you keep your budget at the elevated number, which obviously affects your home rule. It affects this council's ability to make its own budget and ride its own course. So there is a group, excuse me, the Thai Center, the Community Justice Project, and the Southern Property Law Center. They're doing this pro bono. I had concerns about whether we were able to even join in a lawsuit, whether we had standing or not. But after talking to the lawyers, I do believe that we do have a basis to join the lawsuit. And so there is a recommendation from my office. I'm recommending that we do join the lawsuit, at least to explain that we should have a right to budget as we wish in the city. Even though we have not defunded the police, you all have made it clear in discussions about defunding the police that we are not defunding the police. This is not about defunding the police or giving us the ability to defund the police. It's really about our home rule power and being able to control the destiny of this city on our own. So with that, I hope there is support for this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cazzo. Before I open it up to public discussion, Councilman Desame, do you have
Yes.
anything else you want to add first?
No, I urgently ask folks to support it. I know various cities around, Dade County is doing it, because when you hear about preemption, this is very, very, this is part of it. So I know the League of Cities is pushing it. We're doing what we do, and the progressive, progressive elected officials are supporting it, and I think that it's something that we need to do, because it may not be our city now, but definitely will be. You just see what the governor just put out, these executive orders. So that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're opening up public forum. Anybody wanting to speak on tab P, please come to the microphone. We have 2 microphones open. Mr. Prevotel.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'd like to stand in strong support of this, and I think if there were more people, more citizens available this evening, I'm sure they would be in support of this as well. On a side note, I think it's just the way this administration in Tallahassee has behaved. I think it's very, very admirable for us to be very guarded in accepting things that are being handed down from Tallahassee. I'm waiting for a time when this administration is charged with manslaughter due to their activities, their inactions, and what they've promoted. So thank you very much for holding ground and keeping North Miami strong. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on public hearing? Seeing nobody else, public hearing is closed. Is there a motion on tab P?
Move for approval.
Moved by Estime Irvin,
Second.
seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. We'll ask the mayor about his vote when he comes back in. Tab Q.
Tab Q.
Proposed
go
ordinance, second reading.
A proposed second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, providing for the repeal of Chapter 11, Article 5 of the Code of Ordinances, entitled Mobile Vendors and Peddlers, specifically at Sections 11-101 through 11-115, to eliminate the regulation and enforcement of mobile food dispensing vehicles pursuant to Florida Statute Section 509.102, providing for repeal, conflict severability, codification, and for an effective. Tab Q.
Public hearing on tab Q is open. Seeing nobody on tab Q, is there a motion on tab Q?
Move for approval.
Moved by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Timothy. Roll call vote, please, on tab Q.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desame, how do you vote? Mayor Biename, how do you vote? Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Tab R, proposed second reading ordinance.
A proposed second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, entitled Land Development Regulations, specifically at Section 5101, entitled Accessory Uses and Structures, establishing a new Section 5-1611 to allow mobile food dispensing vehicles to operate in particular areas of the city subject to certain standards. Section 5-1903 in Article 7, entitled Definitions, in accordance with Section 509.1022, Florida Statutes 2021, and Section 3-302 and Sections 3-1004 through 3-1007 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Tab R.
Public hearing on tab R is open. Public hearing on tab R. Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from anybody on the dais on tab R?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Estime Urban, a second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor, roll call vote.
Mayor Bianame, how do you vote? Councilwoman Estime Urban, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Thank you. Tab S, another proposed second reading ordinance.
A proposed second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending the official 2036 future land use map to amend the boundary of the city to include the recently annexed area known as the Gratney-Dixie Annexation Area. Described as bounded roughly on the north by Northeast 121st Street, to the east by West Dixie Highway, to the south by Northeast 119th Street, and to the west by North Miami Avenue, and establish future land use designations for the properties located in the area in accordance with Section 163.3184, Section 163.3187, Section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses, capital C, Florida Statutes 2020. And Article 3, entitled Development Review, Division 3, Section 3-302, Sections 3-1104 through 3-1107, Section 3-1109, and Section 31110 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, scrivener's errors, and codification, and for an effective date. Tab S.
Public hearing on tab S is open. Public hearing on tab S. Seeing nobody rising, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from the dais on S?
Move for approval.
Moved by Councilman Estime Irvin. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Timothy, please speak into the mic, because I can't hear
sorry.
you.
Second.
What is this, though?
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bianame, how do you vote? Councilman Desame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Tab T, another second reading ordinance.
A proposed second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 1 entitled General Provisions, specifically at Section 1-106 entitled Official Zoning Map to amend the boundary of the city to include the recently annexed area known as the Gratney-Dixie Annexation Area, described as bounded roughly on the north by Northeast 121st Street, to the east by West Dixie Highway, to the south by Northeast 119th Street, and to the west by North Miami Avenue, and establish zoning designations for the properties located in the area in accordance with Section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses, capital C, Florida Statutes 2021. And Sections 31002, 3-1003, 3-1005, through 3-1007 and Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, declaring the zoning map amendment to be consistent with the City Comprehensive Plan, further authorizing the City Manager to do all things necessary to effectuate the zoning map amendment, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Tab T.
Tab T is now open for public discussion. Seeing nobody, public discussion is now closed. Is there a motion on tab T?
Move for approval.
Moved by Councilman Estime Irvin, second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Timothy. Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bianame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desame, how do you vote? Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
I think as I hand the gavel back to the mayor, we're starting with tab.
I know.
Trust me, I'm banging this side out by, we'll get our pizza at 10 o'clock anyway.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand this over,
Did you
and
order?
the mayor was absent for Q, R, S, and T. No, he was just back in time for T. Q, R, and S Those passed 4-0. Do you want to record?
Yeah, 5-0. That's fine. All of them.
Handing it back for tab U.
Thank you, Vice Mayor
So, to be
Scott
clear,
Galvin, the longest serving member on the dais at this time.
to be clear, your vote on tab P is a yes as well?
Tab what?
Tab P.
Yes.
On tab U.
Tab U?
Tab U, a proposed second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to make adjustments to the minimum fund allocation amount in the reserve fund account as part of the city's fiscal year budget process pursuant to Section 2-2 of the City Code, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab U.
This item is the second reading of the ordinance to waive the minimum requirement to the reserve fund. It was voted in the first meeting, the budget meeting, the past budget meeting. This would require a 4/5 vote.
It's to waive the reserve requirement, right?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on tab U. Public hearing is now closed. Now your motion on the item?
So move. Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab U. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin. Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Biename, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desame, how do you vote? Councilman Desame?
No.
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote. Tab V, Wildcat Center discussion.
So this discussion is sponsored by Councilman Galvin, but I just wanted to go back into
Let
the background.
Councilman Galvin say a few words because, right.
I know she wanted to give me the softball pitch so I can knock it out of the park. So
Yeah. Last year in 2020, when I came, we had the discussion about JWU being for sale, the Johnson & Wales University, and during that time, we had a discussion during our retreat about trying to acquire Wildcat Center. The first discussions centered around looking at what we have, including Gwen Margolis, and trying to see if we could do a trade. We have since then started other negotiations without that, being that we have a new council person in District 2. So I have been in discussions with the owners.
Okay with that?
No.
That was a joke.
No.
We've since changed that. I had discussions with the Council 2 District person, Councilwoman Timothy. But we've been having discussions with PMG, who's the owner of Wildcat, in order to try to acquire that site. And part of that discussion would be a full agreement with respect to some of the zoning requests that they have made, and having Wildcat at getting Wildcat at a lower price. We had a preliminary appraisal, which was close to 13 million. There's also 2 other appraisals for the property. Another at 11 million came in from, I believe, the owners of PMG. So we have been discussing a price point for that. So with that, I wanted to allow Councilman Galvin to kind of jump in there.
Thank you. I just see this as an incredibly exciting and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with the sales that have gone on around of the old Johnson & Wales land. Now the Wildcat Center stands there unspoken for. Obviously, I don't have to impress on this council how we need more parks in our city. This would provide a place for youth to come for after-school programs, for camp programs to be run, for community groups to have meetings. No more run-down Margolis Center for your homeowners meeting. Gymnastics team programs, maybe our police athletic league. There's so many things that we could do at Wildcat Center. It's a state-of-the-art facility. It is almost brand new. It is fantastic. I would encourage the council to do a tour if any of you have not seen it. But this is just to get your approval to continue forward with
I used to do my
negotiations.
yoga there.
Say again?
I do my yoga there.
Do you do, really?
Yeah, at this when Johnson and Wales was.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, fantastic facility, but I didn't want to, continue taxing the city manager on doing this discussion unless the council were interested in moving it forward. So that's the only reason I come to you tonight to ask for your direction and approval.
As a matter of fact, this week I was supposed to have a meeting with the city manager and planning and zoning, Tanya Wilson Sejour, and about the site and what they requested, or city staff proposed that we updated the site and regulation to allow them for more development by giving them height and density around the corner. And I said, okay, what the city gonna get in return? I'm gonna give you all that to maximize your profit, but at the same time, what are we getting in return? The wild card. That's why, and the negotiation is on the table. And I do understand by doing that, give them the zoning they need to maximize the profit, gonna help the city bring better projects. Because, developers are in the business to make money, more money. But at the same time, in order for them to bring a good project for the city, they need to maximize the profit. But that's why we said, okay, you need that, but we need the wildcard center. That's when if we can find a way to negotiate a deal, we give you height and density that you need. You're gonna bring us a good project, some good developers, give us the wildcard for the resident of the city, so we give you that. I think the negotiation is open, and tell the manager we wanna do business, we wanna work with them. At the end of the day, this is what we need, and bring on the table what we need and what they need, and see how we can meet, and for the benefits of the resident of North Miami. I understand that we didn't cut a good deal with Solemia, because when I see all the deals around, building a community center at Solemia should be under responsibility. But at the time when we did that contract, we didn't add that, and now we have to pay for it. And we don't want that to happen with the Johnson and Wales. And that's mean I'm with you in this regard, and I want everybody to understand that the city want to move forward. We don't want to stop development on the site. We just want them to be a good neighbor to the city, and we are willing to work together with them, and for them to have the project and for us to have what we need for the resident.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Estime Urban.
Thank you. Councilman, just want to make sure I understand. So your ask is that you were trying to purchase this, or?
It's a part of the negotiation, whatever it's available.
There's been a lot of different scenarios floated between staff and PMG, who owns the building. But it's been a lengthy discussion. Will we sell it? Will they give it to us? We trade? There's so many options on the table, but I don't want to. Staff has done a yeoman's job of walking at this for a long. I didn't want to waste any more of their time on this. As the council just said, this is a bummer of an idea, Galvin. So it's just to give them the okay to continue this. And if there's any agreement to be had, it would have to come back to us.
I personally don't have any objection to that. I think it would be a great addition to our city.
And sometimes there's project about the city. In order for District 3 to have Cagney Park today, it was the effort of whether it's Councilman Desulme from District 4 or Carol Keys from District 2 or Councilman Scott Galvin from District 1, because Cagney was for the city. That's mean right now the wildcard will be for the city, not for a district. When we go on the east side, we enjoy and wildcard. When we go on the west side, we enjoy Joe Celestine Center.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
It's
to the manager?
District 4, Councilman Jesume. That's you. What do you think?
Oh, no, I have no comment. I was just replying to what you just said.
No, about Joseph.
What did I say?
Barking.
Good.
Oh, my turn now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, you mentioned zoning requests. Do you know what are the zoning requests?
So we're in active negotiations. I'm happy to share in the conversation with you in the meeting, but it does include some additional units.
That was before the Planning Commission.
The Planning Commission, what was before the Planning Commission was a mixed-use high. There would be some units additional.
What do you mean? Bonus units?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so they're going to be requesting variance and stuff.
They know what we want, and we know what they want. We got to meet somewhere. So people from the west can enjoy the wild card, and people from the east can enjoy Joe Celestine Center in District 4.
Thank you, Council.
I think we have, Madam City Manager, you see exactly where we want to go. We don't have to vote on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, council members. I'm excited.
Citizen Forum,
I have
Bill
one.
Privateur, Victor Medina.
William Prevatel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Just regarding the last item, if you think about it, the city is just about the only party that might be interested in that facility. And I wouldn't go crazy knocking ourselves over and giving away everything for that. That is actually an albatross to them. And please recognize it as that. And again, you don't have to give away the entire store. We're about the only fit for that facility, and it would make sense for us to use it as a proper bargaining chip. Earlier it was mentioned that sort of a sentiment of not giving away city-owned property. I don't think the issue is necessarily giving away the city property or selling city property as much as it is the use of that and optimizing those properties. For example, if I may throw this out of left field, it comes at a time when we're looking to raise money. We're looking to invigorate our downtown. We're looking to create parking and such. What if we take the property to our east between City Hall and the Dollar Tree store?
The Welcome Center?
Well, no, this is not. But if we were to take the surface parking that we have there now and put out a request for proposal for that doesn't cost us anything except for putting together maybe an 8.5 by 11 sheet that could go out to a series of brokers across the board to find a party interested in that site to redevelop it almost as they wish, which would probably be rather a large
What
grant.
side are we talking
Right?
about, Bill?
And in the process, what would they do? They would, before constructing it, they'd create structured parking on the south side of Mocha, next to the police station. That would become multi-level parking that would benefit Mocha and the police, and you wouldn't have to cross the street to get to City Hall. That would be part of the proposal, as well as what would they pay for that, and what would they provide. This costs us almost nothing to get these ideas, yet it could pay off in a very big way in the long range, as well as bringing jobs. It's bringing money, bringing jobs, getting us the parking we want, costs us nothing really up front, just to find out about this. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Victor?
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street, North Miami, Florida, 33168. The City of North Miami, millions of dollars in deficient, awards all staff pay raises and raises the taxes and fees of its citizens. This represents totally irresponsible governance. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
All set?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Paul, you have a question? Citizen Forum still open. Citizen Forum is now closed. Council report, District 1.
I just want to mark the passing of an incredible legend in the city of North Miami. Although she She turned 88 just a day before she passed away. Myrna Pavelak. She died last Saturday, just this past Saturday. She may have been older at this stage and maybe wasn't as, she wasn't active in anything in the last few years, but for a good 30 or 40 years, she was a juggernaut of activism. She's one of the main reasons we have a football stadium out by FIU. Mayor's Task Force, Central Homeowners, Youth Opportunity Board, Chamber of Commerce, my gosh. If you can name it, she was probably an activist in it for some different reason. God, I mean, and Alex and I probably can remember a few silly things too. Rats at North Miami High, woo. But old North Miami High. But I just want to mark the passing of Myrna. She will be greatly missed. I know I will certainly miss her. Her funeral is this Friday morning. Viewing is from 9 to 11 at Riverside Gordon, which is 172nd and Dixie. Her funeral starts immediately thereafter at 11. I'd hope the city could send some flowers. Apparently it was her wish that there be lots of flowers at her funeral. I know I'll be sending some funerals, some flowers. But I just want to take a moment for the city to say thank you to Myrna and for us to mourn her passing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilman Desiree.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I do share the same sentiment as Councilman Galvin. About a year ago, I got a call from, I guess, Myrna's assistant, and she asked if I could come in and see her. And I didn't know. I thought she was in the nursing home at that time. So I went by. It took me a couple days to get there, and I did. And she lived right there on 142nd off, right by Cassandra's house, across the street from Cassandra, who works for the mayor. No, not Timothy, Arnold.
Oh.
So in the same street. So I went there, and she was bed. Yes, she was bed rest. And immediately she remembered who I was. And because part of me sitting here, starting with Councilman Galvin many years ago, and when I first started on the city YOB board, Myrna was the chairperson, and I was 16 or 17 or something. And she said to me, I didn't think she would remember me. This was last year. And she said, I called for you, so I do remember exactly who you are. I said, Myrna, how you doing? And we started talking, and we had a long hour. So she was very in good health, and I say this with all sincerity in terms of Ms. Pavelak. We had a couple of great activists in the city with Rosalind Philippe and all those folks, and Jocelyn Laboussiere and all those people that came on the board. But Myrna was one of those folks who, just like Penny Valentine, and who really stood for what's right, and she will tell you what it is about North Miami. So I didn't know until Scott told me, so we will definitely be sending some flowers from my personal account to Ms. Pavelak's family and stuff. So that's basically it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, in her memory.
Now you can do your report.
That's it. Send some flowers, Rosa.
Oh.
Thank you.
District 3 report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I know we've been just going and talking about budget. It started since September 15th. And so I have been personally highlighting on my Facebook page, my social media pages, Hispanic or Latino and Hispanic Month, right, Mr. Medina? Yes. I've been highlighting Latino and Hispanic persons that have contributed to our community. And so I hope that you take out the time to go and find out a couple of those persons like Gloria Stefan and I forget the judge's name. I'm sorry? Sotomayor, thank you. Sotomayor, thank you so much for saying that. As usual, the city of North Miami is also celebrating. And there are a couple of activities that I just wanted to share with you. So there is an artist proclamation exhibition on Thursday, September 30th from 5:30 to 7 in Mocha Courtyard. There is the bike ride. Yes, it's coming back. Back ride Saturday, October 9th, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I look forward to seeing all of you, everyone in the community. But this is especially dedicated to Hispanic Month this month. So please come out Saturday at October 9th at 9 a.m. We have a whole lot of fun with Chief, right? We also have our mayor is going to be doing story time is it the library, Mr. Mayor? Wednesday, October 13th from 3 to 5. I'm at our public library. And before I go to that, on that very same October 9th, we're also going to have a movie on the lawn. And that movie is going to be in the Heights. So we're bringing that back as well. And so there's a lot of activities for this month. So I hope you take out the time to come and enjoy. And as usual, I could always be contacted by email, district3@northmiamifl.gov. Everyone knows Patricia Levasseur is the constituent aide to District 3, and it's just always a pleasure to serve the community, and that's all that I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, District 2. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I always forget, right? So I also thank you on board for passing Government Week. So this is always exciting. October 18 to the 24, we have a lot of activities. We're going to be cooking, hopefully with our councilman, and that last year we did that, and that was a hit, where we cooked with Councilman Alex Zizume. He was in our kitchen, and we're going to have other community leaders or elected officials cooking with us, and just interacting, just getting the community involved and understanding what we do here on a local basis and dealing with all of the stakeholders in our community. So save the dates, October 18th to the 24th. Just look out for the information for Government Week. I don't know, what are you making? You tell me.
Thank you very much. Next, City Attorney report. Madam Clerk, does it have any report? Madam Clerk?
Of course I have.
Yes. Mayor Citizenship Corner. That was the best event of the week.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Madam City Clerk. At the library, we did the ribbon cutting today. That's the best place right now. If you are a U.S. resident and want to become a U.S. citizen to live the American dream, the best place to get resources is to pass by the North Miami City Library to see the mayor's Citizenship Corner prepared by the city clerk of the beautiful city of North Miami. Thank you very much, Madam City Clerk.
When was this?
It was launched today.
Oh, Madam Clerk, I didn't get an invitation.
Madam Clerk,
Mr.
you
Mayor.
have your passport.
I am not PIO.
Eh?
I am not the communications department. I was invited myself. So, well, congratulations, Mayor, on such a wonderful and necessary initiative. And the residents who were in attendance really spoke about how this launch made them feel that they were welcomed in the city of North Miami, regardless of their immigration status. And the fact that they live in a city that is so welcoming meant so much to them, and they had so many questions for family members who were not residents, and they were just really grateful for this space. So thank you for launching something so great and allowing our team in the city clerk's office to be part of that. And, you know, I'm never going to learn how to use this camera. So, Mayor published a book, and it is an interactive passport that actually has a guide to U.S. citizenship and passport and documents. And also at the end, because obviously, Vanessa Joseph, there's a passport checklist. So, for those of you who are still trying to figure out when you're going to renew your passport, now is the time, and there's a whole checklist to tell you how to do it. Today also happens to be National Voter Registration Day, and I hope that you all who are eligible to vote are registered to vote, and if not, that if you already are registered to vote, you've updated your information, because that is equally important. It's important to do that as soon as possible because our democracy needs you now more than ever. And, consider this your invitation to dive deep into your power and help to create or help build the future that we all deserve. Speaking of a future we all deserve, Haitian nationals arriving at the border are refugees, and they must be treated as such. There is absolutely nothing illegal about arriving at a port of entry as stated in the law and requesting asylum. But regardless of your thoughts on immigration and where you stand on the issue, I think that we cannot and we should not condone or ignore the inhumane treatment of anyone seeking refuge by entering the border, through the border. So to that end, I look forward to working with community residents who are interested, who've reached out, community-based organizations to provide meaningful assistance and resources to these new neighbors and friends of ours, because we all deserve to live in peace and safety. And that is all I have for you.
Thank you very much, Madam City Clerk. And after we open the Citizens Corner, and people are asking when we are going to open a welcome center. I don't know too much about it. I think you and the city manager have works to do when it comes to that.
And we're working on it.
Thank you very much. City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to ask the council for an executive session as required under the law. We have a case, the Jockey Club Condominium Apartments, Inc. versus the City of North Miami. It's case number 2020-027233, CA01. The case has a settlement. We had mediation last week. Much to my surprise, we were able to settle the case as we talked about in the previous executive session. So we need you all to approve that settlement. Settlement would have to be approved both by the board of the condominium and the court. So as soon as we can opine on whether we want to go forward or not, the sooner we can get it resolved. So my office will be contacting you all to schedule the executive session. I hope you all attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Pizzo, a question. Sidebar. I keep getting asks from our second floor staff. E3 meeting within the next couple of weeks. Nobody can tell me what it's about. Is it an actual council meeting? Like, does anybody know what?
That's not coming from me.
It's
no.
not coming. Anybody know what the? Happy to be there, but I don't know what it's going on.
Who's sending it to you?
I haven't scheduled one, so I don't know. I can look to find out.
Rosalie can tell you what she knows because she sent me a couple.
Just send it to me for a P3. I don't know if it's an outsider that want to meet about that.
No.
She called me about that also.
Very confused.
I thought it was from the administration.
So did I.
Because they give me a date from between last week and a week from now.
Yeah.
That's when I said to the administration, how come the administration say within 2 weeks? I thought that was the city manager.
It did come from Zane, the office. No, I'm looking at the email now.
That's when you said you're not aware, Madam City Manager, about
September
that.
27. It came from Zane.
You're not aware, Madam? She called me yesterday or the day before about that. I don't know. Okay. And Deputy City Manager, Anisha Daniels, your report. sure? You sure? You don't have anything to say about the budget? Madam City Manager?
Just a few announcements. Tomorrow's the last day to sign up for a North Miami Public Library card and be entered to win a $25 Amazon gift card. And the live drawing will take place on Thursday, September 30th. We also, as we continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, Mayor Philip Biename will present a proclamation to artist Michael Vasquez at the Mocha Courtyard on Thursday, September 30th. So hopefully you'll be there. Also, residents can join Mayor Philip Biename and the Association of Haitian Educators of Dade for the 2021 Back to School Breakfast on Saturday, October 2nd at FIU's Biscayne Bay campus. Seating is limited, so please RSVP at ahedflorida@gmail.com. And starting October 7th, Mocha and North Miami Library will join together to bring teens through art. Each week, an art instructor will teach registered teens how to create a specific art project. It's every Thursday at 3 p.m. You can call the library to sign up. And finally, Councilwoman Mary Estime Irvin will host Movie on the Lawn at Griffin Park on Saturday, October 9th. As part of Hispanic Heritage, we'll be able to enjoy Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights starting at 7 p.m. Food truck vendors will be on site.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, to answer Councilman Galvin's question, I just got the text. That should have been, you shouldn't have received that email. That's an internal meeting on the feed. Shouldn't have gone to. Apologize.
Thank you very much. And a lot of people are calling me, and they were so happy that Jazz at Mocha came back. And from what I understand, we won't have it every month.
No, that's not. My understanding is that had been sponsored by, I believe, the CRA. So I don't know. I'm not.
Okay,
100%
that's when
sure.
we have in Mocha, Jazz at Mocha every Friday of the month.
I would have to ask Shauna to answer that.
Because a lot of people are calling me, and they were so happy that Jazz at Mocha came back. And
I know we just had it this past Friday.
yeah,
Yeah. I will have to get back to you on that answer because I don't see Shauna
it's
in
an
the room at
outside
this time.
event, and I think
I'll have to get back to you on that.
what? She told you something. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Are we done?
Move to adjourn.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to adjourn. Is there a second?
No.
Second. Thank you.
Have a good night,
Seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. It is 10:19.
Have a good night,
10:20,
everyone.
excuse me.
Thank you for coming.